Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Dave's Gone By Facebook Yo Podcast Yo Program Yo of the stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz, and all of you watching at home and or at work, or on the bus, or could be watching anywhere. I always say watching at home. I'm guessing you're watching at home and not, say, at Wendy's flipping burgers while you're watching this and trying to keep your eye to make sure the people eating don't get some horrible disease because you've undercooked the meat. Don't let this program make you undercook meat. That would be a very unfortunate thing. And I say this, and obviously I can't give names or anything like, but I got one of the best emails ever this past week from a student, and I'm not going to tell you where I teach, not going to tell, but got just a short, wonderful email saying, sorry, Professor Lefkowitz, I can't come to school on blah, 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 the day of the week. My roommate apparently undercooked meat for Taco Tuesday. Well, I guess well, no, the next day or two, but just the specificity of that email. It's not just I wasn't feeling under the weather, I'm not well, or I'm having stomach issues. He said, I'm having stomach issues because my roommate uh made like or it was either undercooked or bad meat for Taco Tuesday. And therefore I cannot come to class today. Whether that's true or not, it's still wonderful. And of course, the idea of how can you really tell with taco meat if it's good or bad? I mean, either way, it's really going to put you in the same physical position. But anywho, main thing is you're here, I'm here, and it's our 977th episode of the show. We've been on the air, honest to gosh, most weeks, not every single week. We've taken time off here and there, but since October of 2002, when this program started on terrestrial radio on a Long Island radio station at 11 o'clock at night. And we stayed at the radio station for several years, then moved to Colorado, did the show sometimes as an internet show, and then for a wonderful period on college radio, and then moved off of there, moved out of Colorado, went back on internet radio, started the Facebook Live piece, which actually we even started back in Colorado, come to think of it, and added video onto it so that it is a video podcast. And here we are, 22 years later, doing the 977th episode of this program. This particular episode we are calling Just a Tad. Just a tad. I'll explain the reason for that. Well, the reason for that is that our guest in the Daverhood coming up in about an hour is a fellow named Tad Nelson. You don't really hear about that many people being named Tad, right? I'm assuming a shortening of Thaddeus, and you really don't get many Thaddeus in the world these days, except frogs. I imagine a lot of frogs look at their children. They have 100 children at a time, and they name at least seven of them Tad Jr. But for grown-up people, Tad, cool name, Tad Nelson. He's a lawyer, and he emailed me back at the blue saying I would make a great guest on your show. I think you would love to have me on your program because I have all these stories of being a criminal defense and family lawyer for many, many years and have a law office and so forth. And I'm really good with scientific stuff like the forensics of using presumably fingerprints and DNA and whatever else they do in that CSI world of legal maneuvering to help get clients off in not the X-rated way. And saying to the judge and to the jury, hey, if the gloves shrink, you must acquit. If you find this drop of blood and it's not my client's on the scene, that means somebody else was on the scene. Who was it? So forth and so on and so on. So apparently Tad Nelson has stories to tell, which is what the show is all about. He has stories and anecdotes to tell, presumably interesting ones, harrowing ones, funny ones, and he will share them with us, with not me, unfortunately, but the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sol Solomon. Sol, speaking of our very first episode of the show, which we did 22 years ago, Rabbi Sol was on that very show. And he was doing what would become a rabbinical reflection. It was more of a sketch at that point. Later, we codified it into mini sermons called Rabbinical Reflections. But he also does, in recent years, most of our interviews on the show. And it's a lot of fun to listen to, and a little goofy, a little crazy, and very Jewish. So Rabbi Sol will be talking to the very not Jewish Tad Nelson a little bit later in the program that, again, we are titling Just a Tad. Get it? Because we like to do that. That's the kind of comedy we do here on Dave's Gone By. We have other stuff to do on this episode of the show, but I think my iTunes is functioning because we changed computers a couple of weeks ago, and I've still been working my way around this new Mac, and some things I like about it, some things I don't, but I've forgotten to move my music over for the show from one Mac to the other. So last week I was at 6s and 7s of being like, oh my God, I can't play the theme. I can't play the intro music for this segment. This week, I believe I can.
Good morning, good morning. There goes the Daverhood. And there was much rejoicing.
Didn't your meds kick in yet?
David Lefker is here. He's the Long Island arts guy. He's got his own radio show.
I want you all to really enjoy a wonderful program done by a fine artist.
A glorious thing of unparalleled beauty.
Dave's Gone By. Dave is one of my very favorite broadcasters, so keep on listening to Mr. Dave.
And that's all we can play of Captain Beefheart's Tropical Hot Dog Night because of copyright rules. But that's the way we've been starting the show for many, many, many years. We don't always get to play that intro segment that I put together. And when I first started the show, there wasn't all that talk stuff. I just started with the Beefheart song. But anyway, yeah, the iTunes is working. So something actually is going well. Something is going right. This miserable 2025, this awful New Year for personal reasons and not to mention everything, the other stuff, and the weather. Oh man, the weather. Is it me, or has this been the worst winter in a while, right, that we've been dealing with? We've only had 2 real snowstorms, and yet that second one just came in and was, no, because the first one was so terrible. Now we remember that first snow from a couple of weeks back, because it was rough. You got something like 4 to 6 inches, or maybe it was like 3 inches, and then several hours later, 3 more, right? So that was the crap part. You thought you were done. You shoveled. It was also cold as hell. It was like high 20s, barely 30 degrees, and unbearably windy. Remember those windy days when you were getting wind gusts of 30 to 40 miles per hour? Just trying to get around. And I'm talking, we were in New York and feeling this, and it was we're in Maryland now. That too. And it was just, whoa, because November was fine, right? December was okay. But end of December through January, just this brutal cold that you wouldn't think would go all the way down into Maryland, 200 miles southwest of New York and Long Island. But oh my God, just rough. And you got the snow. So you did it. You said, okay, first snowstorm of the season, kind of exciting. All the weather people are orgasming over it. Just get out there and shovel, do the car. And then literally 12 hours later, you're out doing the same exact thing because you got more, the second dumpage. And the first dumpage, everybody, of course, is really, really on it. Everybody's excited. They haven't shoveled for a year. They know they've got to do it. They know it's part of having different seasons, and that's exciting. So you get out there and it's like, okay, snowstorm, shovel, shovel the walk, shovel the driveway, do the car, do this. And you feel good and you have your hot cocoa in there. But then when it comes back and it's even colder And now the first snowstorm, even though you got the shoveling done, now it's some parts have melted and refrozen a little, so it's much more treacherous, and the wind is still going. And now and now the second shoveling is not so good. The second shoveling is kind of like, son of a, yeah, on the car. And now it's icy physically on the car, so you can't just pull the snow off with your glove. It's kind of, you got to defrost the car because there's chunks, like a sheet, a glassine sheet of wet water ice, which tends to be what ice is, all along the windshields of the car, and you're like, and the second one you just don't do as well because there's bits of snow already under it, and you're tired and you're sick of it. It's like I'm not going to do the whole driveway. I'm just going to do a path down the driveway of this car because the car can go over it, and the mailman he or she can walk, up this little path. They don't need this much space. I'm done. I'm done. So we get through that a couple of weeks ago. And then what do you know? What do you know? Another storm this past week, right? And understand, I did live in Colorado, which is known for snow, even though we were in an area that is not like a skiing resort Vail area that's supposed to get 20 feet of snow. But we figure 3, 4 times a year you're supposed to get snow over there. We would get it once or twice. We were in a very temperate cycle when we were up in Greeley, Colorado, and we didn't have that. And I remember growing up on Long Island and in New York, and you would have a winter. You would have days when the thermometer won't go above 5 or 8 degrees. And you would have days when we literally had a thermometer outside our kitchen window, and we would see ice stuck to it. Or times when it wouldn't budge, it wouldn't move for like 3 days. And we get snow, right? But this year, maybe because I'm also older, right? And my bones, I'm keeping the thermostat in the house now at 71 instead of 70. The stuff happens to you when you when you become senescent. Um, and yet, the one thing about this past snow is it really awakened this whole childhood thing, not of wanting to go out and make a snowman or throw snowballs or do anything like that, but because I teach, and of course my wife teaches as well, but it was the night before thing. And it rekindled that total memory of being a kid, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, having to go to school, but knowing that there's a snowstorm. And it's starting to happen the night before. And this is before the age of Dopplers. And they can literally pinpoint to like an eighth of an inch how much snow you're supposed to get, 20 hours before, 30 hours beforehand, right? This is before when the weathermen were just making really educated guesses. So you get flurries about 10 o'clock at night. And then there's an educated guess that, well, you could get anywhere between not even an inch to 3 or 4 inches. And they wouldn't know. They knew they were getting something, but they couldn't really tell you, which means that they couldn't tell the school buses, which means that they couldn't tell the admins of elementary and junior high and high schools. Right? So everybody's on tenterhooks. So you go to sleep under the assumption that you will probably have to still go to school tomorrow. And then you're like, you can barely sleep because it's so exciting at the thought of getting a day off, right? And which is ridiculous because essentially when you're a kid, you have Saturday and Sunday off anyway. It's not like you're working a 7-day week. You're probably only 4 days at most from a break. But still, this idea of like, I might not have to go to school tomorrow. And you don't have any plans. You're not gonna like suddenly boogie down to the Caribbean, well, because you're 9, and also because it's a day, right? And you're gonna have to help your parents shovel, right? You're gonna clomp around boots. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be miserable. If it's still physically snowing, you're just gonna be in the house reading a book or watching TV. There's nothing special that's really gonna go on. It just means that you don't have to listen to your teachers, and you won't have new homework, and it'll be something of a break, and every kid is like, and I felt that again, even as a professor this past week, because the snow very lightly started the night before. I think it was Tuesday night. And so the first thing you do in our current era is, well, I'm checking the website, check the website. And I'm doing other things. I'm grading, I'm working on stuff, I'm working on my website stuff. But every 15 minutes, I'm not going to lie, every like 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going back and reloading the school's website. And wait, it's like, okay, because the school had decided to close that afternoon early. They said, everybody leave at 3 o'clock. And I wasn't teaching that day. It didn't matter to me. All the kids who had classes at 3:30 and 5 o'clock, they're like, but what mattered to me was the next day because I have a class on Wednesdays. And just my luck, my class is in the late afternoon. So it's not in the morning. And they post, I keep reloading the website for the university. And the website just keeps saying, we're closing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon today. So please, all except crucial personnel, please go home. I'll get home safe. It's still light out to them. But nothing about the next day. And the hours are ticking by. And then finally I see like, aha, school will open late tomorrow, 10 a.m. Right? And this is the night before. What's lovely is back in the day when you were a kid, you didn't generally have the night before unless it had snowed all day. If they were still sort of figuring out how much snow there would be for the next one, that's it. You had to get up the next morning and check, right, whether your school would be open. With now, you get up, it's like, okay, hit the website, 10 a.m. Now, it had started snowing, but lightly, as I mentioned. And I'm thinking, well, if we get something decent overnight and it's still going in the AM, there is still a possibility that they'll revise this and say, no, sorry, we're going to take a snow day. We're going to close school entirely and not reopen until Thursday. So there's that hope. There's that excitement. But I had gone out at about 8:30 in the evening. I started shoveling because for me, sometimes it's easier to do 2 passes during a fairly heavy snowstorm. Get one done so that it isn't one big, long monster thing. I'll shovel a path and it'll get snowed on, but the next shovel isn't so bad a few hours later. So that's what I do. I shovel the walk, I shovel the driveway. It was a very light, fluffy snow, but it's also kind of stopping at 9 p.m. It's also like I'm thinking, if there isn't going to be that much more than this, if there's another inch coming, I'm screwed. So I finish up, I go and I do a little more work, I go to sleep, but there's that morning thing of heading to the computer, right? And it put me literally back in the old days on Long Island as a kid. And oh no, and Long Island, yeah, but even I guess it would have been back in Brooklyn when I was going to elementary school and a little bit of middle school. Like, because I keep thinking of Long Island, I keep remembering being in the kitchen of my folks' house and the radio tuned to WHLI, which was a pretty decent station to begin with if you loved serious oldies like 1940s, 50s, not even doo-wop CBS FM stuff, but I'm talking like the Ink Spots and, the Sinatra Bennett, Patti Page, Rosemary, cool stuff if you weren't my age. But it was a nice station to have on sometimes. But the main thing is you glued it there on a snow day, right? HLI, they had the info. They had the great CIA intel on what schools in your area. And when I say my area, in like all of New York freaking state were going to be open or closed, or if they were opening late or they were doing something else or stuff like that. Everything canceled after or before. And there was this thing of like getting up early, having breakfast, and just huddling around the radio in the kitchen. And we did this, I'm sure, in Brooklyn. I just don't really remember it. It was probably WINS, the all-new station that we just lost, I think, a couple of months ago. But same thing. Like, and the waiting and the crawl. Because, of course, this was 30 years before omnipresent internet or checking a website or anything. You had two options. You could call the school, right? And then see if they left a recorded message on their answering machine, or you waited. It was much more fun to wait and listen on the radio as the announcer read the school names, right, in alphabetical order from borough to borough. And so in elementary school, I went to a place that no longer exists. It was a private religious school called Bialik School in Brooklyn, New York. So I was kind of lucky that it was a B. I didn't have to wait. It wasn't like my school had an R or an S. I'd just be waiting like, oh my God. But the problem was, of course, when you would tune in, you would get the announcer in the middle, and he was on D. And now you had to sort of, oh, shit, he's on the D's and the E's and the F's and the, St. Francis, St. Xavier, St. Martin's, Stewart's and Taloni. I mean, just, dozens and dozens of schools. And you're just waiting for him to get through them and get back to, and now the Bronx, this one and this one. But it was still, there was as much excitement in that almost as watching like a thriller movie of wondering who done it, or if the good guy will triumph or the bad guy will get away. This sort of like, okay, they're on the A's, they're on the, and you won't go to the bathroom once the A's started, because God forbid you should miss the moment when they get to the B's and the BI and Saint or Barry Middle School, Bethlehem, but or I can't think of the names here, but you wanted to be poised. And the real heart stopper was if they didn't read your name, because then you weren't sure if they didn't get the information, if the school was actually opening, right? Or if the school hadn't made its decision yet. And that's when you start frantically calling and you get a busy signal, or you just try and get the answering machine for the school. But it was something so exciting about that for a kid. I think for parents, it was more of a pain in the butt because they might have still had to go to work that day. And they had to decide, well, oh my God, so do I have to come in late to work because I've still got to drive the kid to school? Or I'm just waiting to hear what the kid will do before I can make the decision to drive to school, get the train, da, da, da. But I felt that again this week because I got up in the morning, man, and I'm like, I'm hitting the website again. It's like, school will be opening at 10 a.m. today. Essential personnel, please report on your regular time. Da, da, da. Everything will be normal after 10 a.m. And I'm like, maybe, but I'm looking out the window and the snow has essentially stopped. They're expecting flurries here and there and a little bit of icy rain, which is actually more dangerous than snow is if you're going to physically drive on it. But I'm knowing at that point, like, right? And the thing is, if you're a teacher, if you're a professor, the snow day isn't just this necessary. I mean, it's wonderful. You don't have to go in. You don't have to do the dog and pony show and teach, especially if you have several classes that day. I'm teaching only one this semester. But, you have that feeling of, I don't have to teach today. I don't have to teach today. And I can shunt everything over to the next. But when you're following like a syllabus and the curriculum, it's almost as much work if you're teaching just one class, really, to stay home and have to like recalibrate everything. Because it occurred to me, it's like, okay, they're going to have an in-class piece of work that they'll have to do by the next morning. I'm going to have to move that over. And then I've got to take the stuff we were going to do today, move that to the next day, that we meet. But also I have a full 75 minutes of stuff that next day. So do I pull this over and then I move that over and that over? And does that change when this assignment is due? And suddenly, and this has happened to me over the past couple of years when I've had to miss a class for whatever reason. There's almost as much time spent juggling and changing dates and recalibrating and changing your slides and changing your notes that go with the slides, and then having to probably rework the syllabus a little bit.
Did you hit record?
Yes, we're recording. That was my darling and adorable wife. Hello, a darling, adorable wife.
Oh. The sloths already fell?
No, oh, those the sloths from yesterday. I figure you pick them up and rethrow them so they go on the wall.
You want the pictures here?
I didn't want the pictures, but I was just saying I had that that childhood.
Oh, the dream of not being ready?
Oh no! The true happy dream of like
Getting
schools canceled because of snow.
happy?
No, that's your dream. Well, I mean, my dream when I was a kid too, but you know, of snow, having a snow day, and you realize that when you're at the level when you're having to teach the class, it's sort of like, oh man, it's as much work just about.
Yeah, that's what somebody said to me. They said, when you're a kid, you like a snow day because it's fun. When you're an adult, you don't like a snow day because it's just more work.
It's just well, it's shoveling, and you're having to change everything. You know, everything you had planned to do, you still have to do, but now you have to condense it. You don't get like an extra day at the end of the semester. Not that you would want one, but suddenly you got to change the dates on everything. And even so, it's still February. We still have March. If we get another snow day fear,
Do you think we're gonna,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is true, but I remember as a kid, they said like, there's only a certain number of snow days you could get
True.
before like.
yep. I think that is absolutely, especially if we're talking about like elementary school, well, any
I
school.
think before you have like a problem, I think you can't take,
They build in 3 or 4 days.
I think for us,
Yeah.
when they took my personal feeling is.
Yeah.
They called the ice storm too quickly and it wasn't bad. So it was like a cried wolf. So when they called the ice storm and it wasn't really bad, then they were like, okay, let's wait because we don't wanna,
That's bad too.
Let me ask your phone how many.
Yeah, I mean, probably vary state to state. So my wonderful wife here is going to look up and see what the,
Oh,
Yeah.
They found a gray cat. If that's the name.
they were looking for a missing cat in our neighborhood.
Oh, they found it, okay.
Yay.
How many snow days do you get at the university level before it's a problem?
Because there is a thing, as I recall in New York State, where like if you're in elementary school, you have to teach something like 180 days or X amount of days a year. But they build into the calendar that you can miss 2 or 3 or 4 from snow or whatever other reason. If you have too many snow days, and I think this happened to me one time.
In 2018.
Yeah.
Penn State is saying they canceled 3 and that's like enough.
Well, if they'd gone to 4, they would have had to add a day. That's the thing. Like in elementary school, they will literally add a day at the end of the summer or take away a day from
Look, it
a
says
break.
here, it
Yeah.
says in our county,
Yeah.
it says, well, the school district, I don't know if that's little kids, but it said, what happened? It says, has exhausted the 3 school days it
Exhausted.
provides.
Yeah.
So I guess you get 3.
Right. But if you have a monster snowstorm or 3 snowstorms,
You don't get a full day, we get a late start, so a late start's not a full
that
snow
doesn't
day.
count.
Yeah, that's what, we never had a full snow day, did we?
Not this
We get
year.
late starts.
The
Do late starts count as a full snow day for a university?
Mhm.
Doesn't say.
Yeah. No, but I think the university did take a snow day, but it was during the holiday break. So staff didn't have to come in, but there were no class. Well, maybe there might have been a winter class. I don't know about that, but it might have been during the holidays.
It's usually online though.
So yeah. But I vaguely recall there was one year when I was a kid that we had so many snow days. It was such miserable weather that they had to add a day at the end of in order to conform to the Board of Ed's rule that you taught X amount of days in school.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
the guest wrote, I'm excited that I'll be joining Dave's show. Look.
Wait, is that from Tad? He literally posted on his. Can you read it? Can you read it? I'm excited. I'll read it.
Resend it from you, but
I'm excited to announce, this is from Tad Nelson, our guest in about half an hour in the Daverhood, that I'll be joining Dave Lefkowitz, and he hasn't mentioned, but it's Rabbi Sol Solomon, on his long-running radio show and video podcast, Dave's Gone By, this morning At 9 a.m., well, we start the show, thank you. At 9 a.m. Eastern time is when the show started. He's coming on closer to 10.
I'll record that and say he's coming on at 10, right?
He's coming out at 10 Eastern.
Okay, so I'm gonna record that.
We'll delve into the motivations that led me to pursue a career in law, true, and discuss the dynamic nature of working as a criminal defense attorney. Tune in live.
We have that chung from, didn't we get that?
Oh, we have the Law and Order
Where is it?
gavel up
Where
there
is it?
somewhere. We got that. I'm guessing it's gotta be in the our
Oh.
array of toys. Toys of noise is what we'll be calling it. We have all these little things like this. The Uga air horn. And certainly more recently we did get the all important slamming door.
It's not here.
It's not there?
This is the perfect guest for.
I know. How can that be? It's gotta be there somewhere. It's just
Yeah,
probably
Mr.
hidden.
Mr. Roger, ice cream sardines, dun. We have the truck, Hanukkah llama. Where would it be?
It's the only place it would be unless it's in that plastic case there.
Oh, hold on. Air trampoline, screaming goat.
Did we get the gavel? I thought we did.
Yes. I got it to you for a holiday.
Oh
You
no.
didn't put the things from the library about love.
Oh well, yeah. No, I mean, well, let me do the sloth. So these are some.
It's David.
I have no idea. The only places. Oh, there it is. There it is. Mazel tov.
Here's the chicken and the extra.
Well, yeah. This I can't really. Okay. Let's get.
I'll go to chickens if you want. You need the chicken phones for later.
I do need. So we're gonna grab a couple of the chickens.
Because who else to do the thing from?
But a lawyer.
Isn't he?
Here's a little bit of excrement that I always carry with me. All right. So I'll put these here.
I'm gonna requote him. Let me just open, I can't open the.
This is Sloth. Sloth, you put on the wall and he crawls down. That was badly done. I'm going to try it with my other hand. No, I'm going to try it with my left hand again. Because I do like doing things with my left hand. Here's Sloth.
Whoa!
Oh, okay. He's so way up. I'm going to literally tilt the camera so you can see him. So we're going to watch him come down.
Honey,
Gotta do this. So we do have.
this one. Oh, if you need the book. Here's the
Oh,
book.
we can read the book a little bit. Yeah. About law. Excuse me.
Give me your phone.
My phone or yours?
Phone so I can repost what he wrote.
Behold,
And did you mention again that the caption, look at that.
this is a teeny tiny.
That's
It's a
good.
Law and Order thing with the chung. I'll probably get like a copyright thing from YouTube for using this. Chum. Anyway, let's. And by the way, there's a how-to book of about 30 pages of how to hold the gavel. They do have the Polish version of the toy, which there you go, like that. But let's see. A brief history of Law and Order. Hang on to the book. Some television shows become hits, some full-fledged phenomena, and a special few become so ingrained in our culture. It's hard to imagine what life was like before them. Without a doubt, one of those iconic shows is
David, then
Law and
I
Order.
guess that Nelson.
Nelson. Yeah, like Richard Nelson, our playwright friend, or Admiral Nelson, who has not been on the program.
I tagged him in your post, that's him.
That's great. The way television portrayed criminal justice changed forever when Law and Order debuted on September 13th, 1990. The show became one of the longest-running live-action primetime shows in the U.S., surpassed only by its spin-off Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Format was unique at the time. Creator Dick Wolf envisioned a different approach to the typical police or legal drama. Instead of using an hour of TV time to depict only the crime being solved or the jury trial, Law and Order combined both in a 1-hour program. Let's see if they yeah. This is really more about Law. Oh, Jerry Orbach. Gotta have a picture of Jerry Orbach and what's his name? Reynaldo. Ooh. Oh, that's the name of the character is Reynaldo Curtis. Yeah, Officer Curtis, here he is. Da-da. Let's see. La la la. Oh, remember, people don't even remember that it was before Sam Waterston, you had, oh, shame on me, I've forgotten, you had Ben Stone.
Oh, yeah.
And I've forgotten that actor's name. That's so bad of me.
So bad.
Michael, so anyway.
Ted Nelson, any of us that will be our guests on Days Gone By, please join us for this most excellent interview.
Basically, this is more about the show than anything about actually using the chung chung. Let's see if there's anything about the music being, oh, here we go. Wait, rubber something. No, that's right. Oh, here's, then, well, this is what happens to my brain at 61. I never remember names, but that's Cameron Langheim, who was actually working as a secretary when I was going to NYU. She was a matriculating student, and she would be at 721 Broadway in the film thing, answering, doing filing and answering phones, and while she was getting her degree as part of her, as part of her working. Anyway, we have a lawyer coming on Dave's Gone By. Let's see what else. Oh, all elsewhere on this program, we'll have Greeley Times, which is based on an actual column in the Greeley Tribune newspaper of Northern Colorado, where people see something very scary or strange in the neighborhood. They call the cops. The dispatcher takes down the information. Oh, dear.
Guest and Dave's Gone By at 10 a.m. ET. Please join us to meet this wonderful guest. I want to put a picture
An emoji or oh, there you go. So the dispatcher takes down the information, and the newspaper gets this as public record, I assume. They strip away the names and the actual, if it's a store, they don't do the name of the store, but they keep the quote, they keep what the person calling in is complaining about. And the funniest ones go into a column once a week called Cop Log in the Trib. And we take the funniest ones of those and turn them into Greeley Times. So we'll be doing that on this episode of the show. Perfect for law stuff anyway, since it's about cops. Tad Nelson will be our guest on Dave's Gone By at 10 a.m. Eastern. Please join us to meet this wonderful guest. Oh, you posted it.
Yeah, I posted his repost.
Excellent. Thank you very much, dear. So we'll have that.
I love he's got a thing in his office that says relentless, like a really, look at that.
Yeah, it's a great sign. It's purple. It's, yeah. Oh, I don't know. Maybe he had it. He's a lawyer. He can probably afford to.
You can get any sign made at Etsy like that. Yeah.
So I'm sure he did, or maybe his wife did it for him for his birthday or something. Because when you're a lawyer, you gotta be relentless. So we will be relentlessly questioning lawyer Tad Nelson in just a little while. We'll have, speaking of relentless, for years we've been doing the what?
When you have them call the cops, you can try it.
Oh yeah, everything. This will be our thing for Greeley Times today also. Like, we have a caller. Well, and we will also have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Now, this is a poem, and I've been writing these for a lot of years now and trying to come up with a new one every week. Take a map of Colorado, look not just for the places that you know of, like Boulder and Evans and Johnstown and Greeley and Pueblo and Vail, but any town you can think of, so long as it's vaguely rhymable.
In your thing.
Thank you, babe.
Did you notice on Facebook, you could do like what you're thinking. This is like a bubble over your head on the messaging.
Oh, I never saw that before.
On FB Live now, please join us.
Please do, yeah.
Yeah, I do that and I share it.
So I've started.
That's your bubble. Look.
Let me show. Oh, wow.
I always do it every show. I think that helps you get people.
That's so cool.
Yeah, but sometimes they put like Dave's Gone By, but I want to do something short.
Yeah, get on there and folks, we're live now. But do we have to take this off at the end of the show, or will it stay on there?
They're temporary.
Oh, okay.
Because it doesn't stay on forever.
That's a very.
Like I did it last week and it wasn't on now, so I don't know it. I think they're timed.
Facebook trying to stay relevant in the age of TikTok, basically, of like,
Ah,
but
fun.
yeah, but oh, my wife is looking for something. Yeah.
He said,
Oh, it's chicken flinging time. Oh,
he said, Greeley Times and O'Connor.
oh, we're gonna do. Oh, I didn't realize we're starting that. So, yes, let's do that. We have
Why
about
don't you do it, and then,
what?
you got the chicken phone.
I got the chicken phone. All right.
Get down on it.
So here's the
Get
deal.
down on it.
Ah, here come more chickens.
Get down on
Well,
it.
I can't do that one.
Do it high. Get down on
Ah,
it.
oh, I'm off today. Ah, there we go. And oh, almost.
My bad.
We gotta go. Yeah.
You want the other slot that fell or no?
No, we're good. We're good because we only have about 20 minutes to do Greeley Times before we get
Yes.
our guest in the neighborhood. So this is real. This is the
Love that picture of him with the suit and
sign,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a really nice shot. Yeah.
Greeley Times, ladies and gentlemen. And because my iTunes is working again, let's see if we can have our. Oh no, I forgot to carry that one over.
Well,
Oops. I have the outro. I just don't have the opening music. So let's go right into Greeley. Well, actually, it's Greeley Times. There we go. So these are phone calls that
you
come.
want your- play something?
Oh, sure. Well, do we need it
Wait,
or?
here, do this. Oh, not that quick. Here.
Ah, thank you so much. Gotta get my glasses back on too. Here we go.
It's a happy melody for fun.
I know.
Have some fun.
Urban crime. All right, so here we go. Here is. So these are real. These were people who called in to the Greeley and Weld County Police Department and wanted to say something. So I heard, oh, I think we have a call. Wait, no, it should be this. Yeah, you're right. A caller at an unknown address said that her 13-year-old put something in her drink. She assumed it was an essential oil, but she wanted an officer to respond just in case.
I knew a lady who put an essential oil in a kid's ear to heal it, and it
Oh.
burst the eardrum.
What?
Yeah, essential oil is not innocuous. Like, you're not supposed to take a lot of it internally.
Ew.
So it could hurt her too. What was it?
Well, no, of course they never follow up. So we don't know if it was arsenic or just like peppermint or whatever the kid put in her drink.
Why? Yeah, I would not drink it. If, the first thing we were taught, I never went anywhere, but
Yeah.
it was boring. My grandmother told me, if you ever go out, this is my grandmother, if you
Yeah.
ever go out and you have a drink, I always had to go to wee, if you go to the bathroom or you leave the drink, don't drink it, get a new one.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
think.
so like, this
Yeah.
is like commonly, you don't.
Yeah, but if your 13-year-old daughter is getting you a beverage, what kind of relationship do you?
No, but if you suspect them of putting something in, what kind of relationship?
Yeah.
I mean, don't ask somebody, if you don't trust somebody, don't have them get you foodies.
All right, I know, but
I gotta check on this cat, I wanna make sure that everything's okay.
they found the gray cat. Are we good?
Oh, wait a second, let me just double check if they did.
Here we go.
Oh, wait. Apparently the cat's not happy.
No, apparently. No, that's the owner. So, all right, here we go.
Oh, it's very cute.
Oh, where? Locally?
I don't know, he's very cute, I'll take him.
A miniature poodle. Isn't that redundant? A miniature poodle?
No, poodles can be standard. Oh, he's wearing a pink coat.
Oh, well, he would be. It would be easy to spot. Oh, although his name is not Spot. Any other,
Oh.
what? Yeah.
So they brought the dog to the pet ER, that's good.
Oh, they found him.
Yeah.
Oh, is he chipped?
I don't know, the dog got hit, but they took the
Oh,
dog to
hit.
the ER, but that's good.
Oh, all right.
You know, hey.
All right. Let's. Oh, I hear the phone
Oh, I'm sorry.
coming in. Let me get the chicken phone. Got it. A caller at an apartment complex on 10th Avenue said he heard either trains or constant music.
No, remember, so do you remember Lisa, our friend, she was from PA, she was also a student years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
And she lived near in Colorado, she lived near the train tracks. And her family, for fun, bought her Thomas the Train sheets because all they heard was the train.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's unclear in the writing here. It sounds like this person couldn't distinguish, and modern music, it can be there, but between, is that a train or is that the latest Kendrick Lamar album? I
No,
can't,
but think it would- I mean,
or maybe she's saying that either sometimes there's a train coming by or there's loud news, but they're not clear on that.
I mean, when her friend lived there, she was like, the noise was so bad, they bought her Thomas the Train sheets because, like,
Yeah.
it was like, I mean, I never lived near a subway, but I would imagine, or an overhead train, it's gotta be loud.
But here's the deal. The caller wasn't sure whether it was coming from inside the building. If it was a train, I'm hoping. It's not like the Coney Island house in Annie Hall. Like, what is it?
I read
Yeah.
a woman gave birth on the subway.
Well, really, oh.
Pretty recently. But I mean, sometimes it's like for me, like literally someone came behind me and was standing on my left.
Yeah.
And I would swear to you they were on my right
Oh,
side.
yeah, oh.
And I'm looking this way and I'm like, where are they? And the person's like, they're your left. My proprioception, so it could be your proprioception.
Well, do you remember yesterday, we went to the bank,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
and we were in this bank here in Maryland, and we're talking to the teller, and then there's a couple of offices right behind us, a very small little bank area. And there's a guy behind us saying, what you need to do, go talk to the teller. She's right up there, blah, blah, blah. Now, the teller needs to communicate something to him in the office while we're there. And what unless I'm greatly mistaken, when she, instead of yelling at her or going over, she just literally goes to the wall. And she talks to the wall like this.
That's some kind of intercom, I thought, no?
I thought, or the way the office is set up, she could have been crazy. No, but you know how you've been to some churches and
Or
things where you,
there's a classroom at school where I stand in one area and it's like a microphone.
Yeah.
There's no microphone. I'm like, I didn't get louder. What the heck? Yeah.
So I'm wondering if she stands in that particular position,
Oh,
she can literally
yeah.
just talk very quietly and he'll hear it. Yeah.
2 days ago, a woman gave birth to a baby a girl in a subway car and passengers helped out. She was from Florida.
Oh, wow.
Like, hey, good morning. I'm gonna take the subway. Poof.
And now that baby is a citizen not only of the United States, but of the F train.
No,
So
the baby gets a free subway pass for like a week.
actually, for a week, right?
They make the baby pay in order for the baby to get off the train. They're like, does that baby?
It's like $2.75. Oh, man. Anyway,
Uh-oh.
what happened? What?
There are 2 people in NIH left. 2 people who are the second top of NIH official who were awarding grants just left.
NIH is the National Institute of Health. So, obviously every government worker is under the gun.
The first one. Anyway.
Why would you know? Okay.
Oh, wait.
Oh, I'm going to grab the poo phone on this.
You can try it.
There we go. Oh, here's where did he come from? Oh, this one won't even stay on the thing.
Try it.
Here we go.
You're
No,
trying
that
it.
didn't work. I'll try this one.
The good one's on the floor behind your chair. Maybe some of these guys might resuscitate.
I'll try this hand.
Yeah.
No, that's not gonna work anymore. That kind of outlasted their use. Here we go. Gonna try him from this way.
And last, and then there's a good one behind you. I'll get that one.
I'm gonna try this one really hard. That's what she said. Yeah, no, it's not gonna.
Just so you can-
Yeah.
Cover me.
Let's stay down. Up. Hey, got it. Thank you very much.
That's the sticky one.
Okay, so here's a brand new sloth. Let's see. I'll give him a good hard toss. He might be way high up though, but here we go. Here we go. Boom.
Good job.
There he goes. All righty.
Okay.
So let's do one or two. All right. A caller. Yeah. A caller on 8th Street saw a woman walking down the sidewalk looking through mailboxes. Now, the caller watched her open 3 mailboxes, but she didn't take anything.
Maybe she was just looking to see if any people got mail.
I-
You know, sometimes you wonder, like, maybe we're waiting for mail and nobody got it, or did every people get mail,
Or maybe the mailbox got, she's wondering if the mailboxes are lonely, if they're not used enough.
She's a postal worker, like that might be her, like her stuff. She believes maybe she's practicing for being a mail person, like a postal worker.
And remember the old post office boxes where you could literally reach your hand
No, but I
in?
think I thought she was opening people's mailboxes, like is she opening?
Oh!
I thought she was like going down the street, like people have those
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm
the
thinking,
mailboxes where you
yeah.
put the little flag up. I thought
Yeah.
she was just going to people's mail.
You're right, that's
Maybe
exactly what
she's
she was
an
doing.
Amazon worker. She might be an Amazon delivery worker.
And why would she do that then?
She's dropping off people's packages.
Yeah, but she's not putting anything in. She hadn't taken it, she just,
Maybe she's practicing. She's warming up.
Oh. like, the next day was her first real day on the job. So you know how when yeah.
She's timing herself.
When you have a new job,
Yeah.
you want to drive there before the day, so the route.
I mean, our friend's brother, our friends in Bethesda, her brother, when he was in New York, he was always like, he's a good kid, but he was a little bit sluggish in walking. And he was there crossing the street. He almost got hit by a FedEx truck. So
Oh.
I think these fast services should practice.
They should.
Uh-oh.
And press the open, yeah. Oh, here we go. Now, as I mentioned before about specificity, when I talked about that email I got, it's like, it's the specifics of this that to me make it funny, the specific details.
Real,
Yeah. A caller at 10th Street, oh, let me get the door phone. A caller at 10th Street said her sister was driving a silver Hyundai and tried to hit the caller while she was riding a scooter. I just love that it's a silver Hyundai and a scooter. Something about just specifics of it. Now, before we run out of time, I want to do an elsewhere.
But it makes sense to me
Yeah.
because,
Oh, yes.
like, I think, you see all these like reports, like the person was driving or think of even the Uber. Uber tells you the car, the make of the car.
Yeah.
I don't know the make of the car. I know a car color, but I don't know, like, it's like, this is like a Elantra. I'm like, what the heck's an Elantra? So maybe she's used to riding Uber where they give you a really specific,
Right.
this is whatever.
A silver Hyundai, right? Her sister could have been driving an Uber and hitting her on the scooter.
Hope
not. I wouldn't tip
I think
very
these
well.
are probably the same family where the daughter brought her the drink laced with something.
That could be. So on Greeley Times, we try and make room for one story
Elsewhere.
that is not from Greeley or Evans at all, or Johnstown or Fort Collins or anything. It can be from anywhere else in the country, anywhere else in the world. Just a piece of weird, ridiculous, odd news. We do have one, my friends, and this comes from Batesville, Mississippi. Batesville, Mississippi. Police in Batesville, Mississippi.
It's a good time there. I guess it's a fun place.
It's a happening town. Well, the police there are asking residents to be on the lookout for an unusual suspect wanted for, quote, felony fleeing and disorderly conduct.
What is felony if you're leaving the scene of
Yeah, leaving the scene of, I guess, creating disorder. Can you guess the suspect?
It's probably a raccoon. It's raccoon or something.
Not raccoon, but you're on the right track.
I don't know. It's a squirrel. Who knows?
Right, sort of the right track. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, and it's unfortunate that I'm doing this audio only because the photo is great. The suspect is an escaped emu.
Oh, again, those emus wreak havoc all the time.
I love that again.
Yeah.
Police created a wanted poster.
Okay, where's the place? Australia?
Batesville, Mississippi.
Wanted poster, Batesville, Mississippi.
Emu.
Wanted poster for emu in Batesville, Mississippi. Oh,
No, it's adorable. Yeah, if you can get that up, I'll show it. Because it's really, this is real. The police created this, albeit with a sense of humor.
oh.
Emu the Great.
Is that his name?
Maybe, or the police were just
Oh.
goofing.
Ring. If they put on ring in 5 minutes, people will find the gosh darn.
Yeah, they were finding an emu. He's taller than I am, 5'7".
Wow, he's my height. Well, I used to be 7.
Charges are only pending, fleeing and disorderly conduct. And there's more than just on this poster. They have a sign that says also, please use caution if you come in contact. Huh?
Don't they kick?
Yeah, well, if you come in contact with a suspect, it is known to
Oh,
yeah,
He
what?
is known to charge at anyone standing in the way of its freedom. Get out my way!
And the department cautioned anyone who spots.
Don't honk their car.
Yeah, read it.
It's scared.
Yeah, if you honk the car, she's scared, and the owners have a team helping them get her back
What
home.
did she do that was bad? She stole something?
Oh, it could be. I think it's more like sex trafficking.
She's so cute though.
I know,
Wow.
right?
But I wonder if those eyes are like, is this an artist rendition or a real image? Looks like an
Or it
artist.
may just be a
This looks
generic.
like an artist's rendition because it's too beautiful.
It's so gorgeous,
It's
yeah.
so beautiful. If she's a gorgeous emu, I think it's an artist
But I
rendition.
think she has been acting as a madam for a lot of peacocks that have been, shall we say, servicing.
There's something up with that. She's too pretty. I mean, but hey,
Well,
but she's dangerous, right? Well, she doesn't attack.
well, yeah, like an ostrich. If you go near an ostrich and it doesn't like you, it can give you a
Do
nasty.
they spit or do they claw you?
I don't know if they claw. I think they just lunge at you and probably give you a good zets with their feet. Hmm.
That might not be good.
Yeah. You know what kind of music they listen to? Emo. Emo. Yeah.
It's cute.
They also like the comedian Emo too. Oh, the slots just moved.
I think the bottom slot. Which one? The top one or the bottom?
The top one I guess the top one hasn't really moved yet, but
Oh.
let's do one or two more Greeley Times because we have our guest in the waiting room. So oh, honey.
But
A chicken alert. We have a chicken. What is that? Oh, yeah, here we go. Chicken. Because we have the emu on the loose. Now we have a chicken alert, which just means the stories about chickens
just
in Greeley, Colorado. Here we go. A caller on 6th Street. Can you make that out? A caller on 6th Street said a loose chicken got into her yard and she didn't know what to do with it. A
Yeah, but when
loose
you tell me
chicken, yeah.
now, so we have a friend who has what do you call them? Chickens who lay eggs, and with the price of eggs, if you have a chicken and that chicken will have eggs, that's a good
thing to have, yeah.
It's like I remember when we were in Colorado, I met a lot of farmers and they would say a good farmer never goes hungry. Because you have animals who have,
Yeah.
meat or they have eggs or milk, and then you have plants and
Yeah.
land.
No, people are asking me, now with the price, wouldn't you love a lot of little chickens running around? I say, I'd trade that just to have one big cock. But it's almost 10 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time, my friends. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. That is my wonderful wife. You are your wonderful you, and I've got to go temporarily because we've got to make room for the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sol Solomon, who's going to be conducting an interview with a lawyer, not a Jewish lawyer, but a lawyer who does criminal defense stuff and family law and a lot of forensic stuff. So it should be really interesting to talk to Tad Nelson in the Daverhood, all about his career, all about some of his cases. So Thaddeus, probably. One was after. But anyway, Tad Nelson coming in the Daverhood. Now let's see if I've got the music ready for this on my iTunes. The Rabbi's beautiful klezmer theme. Shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal. Well, yes, it is. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, the founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And what a thrill, what a delight it is to have with us in the Daverhood. I see, is that you or a frozen image of you? Oh, there, you're moving. Why are you?
I was just listening.
You're segmented into 9 little cubes there. What is that?
Oh, we need to remove that. Let's I don't know what that is. That's with the camera. Let me
Are
try
you
to
in
fix that.
prison? Did you do something naughty and these are bars? What's going on over there? This is Tad Nelson, by the way, from his lovely. Oh, look at that chair. That is the chair of a successful lawyer. Oh, something. It's lights out, ladies and gentlemen, in the jail. We just lost his imagery. There's no signal for El Gato there. But Tad Nelson is a criminal defense attorney. He's also a forensic scientist, so he uses forensic science to help his clients. He helps get people off. Kind of, I made that joke before, but no. So this is the deal. He knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for quite a long time, and he's these stories to tell of the folks that he has helped, the way that he has used, presumably DNA and fingerprints and hair follicles.
The lawyer was testifying and he was a cat.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, Dave's wife. Did you ever see that early thing of during the pandemic era when there was a lawyer, it was a court case, they were on Zoom, and he couldn't get, the lawyer came on and he had the face of a cat because he couldn't remove the app?
Yeah, I remember that. That was great. He was in a court hearing. He was actually in a hearing.
You know this. Did that ever happen to you? Did you ever have that issue with Zoom during the pandemic?
Not really. I've had it like this where it didn't work, and I tried to attach a camera so I'd have a better picture, but you know how these things go. It's just ridiculous.
So welcome, by the way, to the Daverhood.
Thank you.
Nelson. I do have to ask, is your name, like on your birth certificate, Thaddeus, or were you Tad forever?
I had been TAD forever. 3 letters is all I got. That's all my parents gave me.
Well, what's your middle name? Maybe they give you a long one.
Well, I'm a Catholic boy, so I'm named after Saint Anthony.
Oh, so Tad Anthony Nelson.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Boy, that is a goyish name. You're right. You are a Catholic. I wish my parents had given me a long one, but I'm Jewish. It doesn't happen. So let me ask, how many years have you been in the legal field?
This is my 34th year.
Mit Mazel, mit Glick. So did you start as a PD or did you start, how did you get in?
Well, what was funny is I always thought I wanted to not litigate and just do something in a little cubicle. And I started with a probate firm in downtown Houston, and I was getting a master's in tax law from U of H. And after about 9 months, I was pulling my hair out. And I was my family was friends with the elected DA down in Galveston County. He had always said, "You want a job, come." So I called him one day. I said, "Mike, I'm losing my mind. I can't do this. I need to be in a courtroom." He said, "When can you start?" And I ended up starting 10 days later.
What? So were you just bored? I mean, tax law doesn't sound like
I
thrilling.
was bored out of my mind.
Yeah.
Completely bored. And I always, at University of Texas, I had an accounting background, so I thought that was going to be my answer, but never turned out to be my answer.
Hold on one moment. I have a note here. What? The producer's wife is reminding me that we do have the Law and Order gavel here.
Love it.
Here we go. There you go.
Yeah.
So when you started working for this friend of your family, this sinecure position, well, I wasn't gonna say it was
It was a government spot, Galveston County District Attorney's Office, and I did that for 3 years and went out on my own and been doing my own thing since June 1 of 94.
So what was your own thing? Because the thing I'm a little surprised about is that, you're out there, you're putting yourself out there, which we generally associate with kind of ambulance chasers. Like, oh, have you been hurt in an accident? Good, we can help you. But you're not so much that. How did you get where you are at now?
When I went out on my own in 94, you start doing your thing. And at that point, you're young, you're doing a lot of court-appointed work. The coordinators are helping you build your practice. And, ultimately, we kind of turned to more of a scientific angle just because you finally got sick of going to court and these government experts, the typical lawyer doesn't know squat about science. So they kind of run over you. They take shortcuts. Sometimes they use bad science. And if you don't know what the hell, you don't know the lingo, they can run over you. And there was a point that just got frustrating. And ultimately went out and got some education, learned a little science, went back to junior college in Galveston, took some chemistry classes, started figuring this out and just realized these guys are not telling the truth. They're taking shortcuts, convicting our people, and they're just not, they're not doing it right. And I can live with anybody, cops, scientists, whatever. Do your job. I realize you're on the other team, but two things I can't stand. Don't take shortcuts and don't lie. Those things are bad. That's the thing that mucks up the whole system.
Well, but here's the deal. You must have, what is a lawyer's obligation? Like if if your DNA suddenly uncovers that your client is actually guilty,
And
are
I get a
you
lot of those.
obligated?
Don't think I don't.
What?
I mean, I have tons of those. I mean, we have criminal lawyers. We represent guilty people every day.
Then aren't you lying when you go into court and try to prove them not guilty?
Well, no. See, this is great. This is where this conversation needs to be.
Yeah.
When we go to court, you realize in the code, the criminal code, it says the prosecutor's job is to ethically see that justice is done. My job is to zealously represent my client's interests. Now, there's a little bit of a difference there. So when somebody's guilty, when I get to the pearly gates, if I have to be right on did OJ kill those people or not, I'm saying he killed them. You know what I mean? There's no doubt in my mind. But he wasn't found guilty because doing it and guilty are two different words. Guilty means the government proved every element of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think with all the stuff they did on OJ, maybe there was reasonable doubt. Maybe it was because of the environment. I don't know. But when I go to court, let's just say my person is guilty. It's a bifurcated trial system. You have the guilt, innocence, and you have the punishment. So first thing I'm going to do is make sure the government proves their case. And if they don't have the people to prove their case, shame on them, right? And then the second issue is we've got to make the punishment fit the crime.
Well, but wouldn't you have to hide evidence if the evidence is proving that your client is guilty? Let's say you run out of and it's like, and wouldn't you have to show that to the prosecutors and go, look, I'm defending the guy. But unfortunately, what we came up with puts him right there with his fingerprints over her throat.
Well, and that's a good point. See, that would be overwhelming evidence, you would think. But there may be a different theory. I don't know. And the way it works is the defense, we don't bring anything to the table. We're allowed to, but the government has the burden of persuasion, which is beyond a reasonable doubt, and they have the burden of production. They've got to bring the case. We don't bring anything. We could just sit there, cross-examine, have enough of it. You know what I mean? And the jury has to decide, hey, did the government prove that case? They're not worried about what Mr. Nelson did. I cut it up. I kind of create a little chaos, show some other possibilities, and then they have to decide.
Is it true that the worst thing to do, I mean, sort of the last ditch is putting your client on the stand?
Oh yeah, you got that one right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when now in some cases, like by definition, if it's an aggravated assault or a murder where the defense is self-defense, you have to put them on for that. And obviously in sometimes in cases where I do a lot of sexual allegations in children cases, I mean, which are tough, and I know they're, but the person usually has to testify for that, because if a child says, that guy right there, he did some bad stuff to me, you're going to have to get up there and say, I didn't, and that comes down to a he said, she said. Some of these, I'm with you. I have a 7-year-old. I get it. She's not going to lie to me about somebody touching her, no doubt in my mind. But some kids misinterpret, or there's things
when I was 10 years old, I had this very pretty babysitter, and he said, "Did she touch you there?" I'm like, "I wish," but no, it didn't. That didn't really actually happen there. No, but so you do family law. So you
Yeah.
get into but again, like if you're defending a client and you are sure, yeah, I mean, you know, and he knows that he touched or did more things to a,
Yes.
I mean, don't you just sort of throw, do you really just wait for the prosecutors to prove it? You don't go to the
Well,
prosecutor and say, no, this guy's a
I
piece
mean,
of garbage.
and I mean, we're all thinking that because we're all human beings. But at the end of the day, everybody is one of, God's creatures. And you ultimately, let's take a second degree felony, punishable by 2 years to 20 years. That's 18 years of wiggle room,
Well, yeah.
So not everybody that gets a second degree felony gets 20 years.
Yeah, but if this guy is wiggling himself into an 11-year-old, you
Well,
probably want to give
again,
him some,
he's
yeah,
going
I
to
mean,
get more. He's definitely going to get more, without a doubt. And he
good.
should. I mean, if a second degree felony is also stealing $1,000, and we're comparing a second degree guy that stole $1,500 with a guy that touched a child, obviously the touching the child is getting more. But you also, I mean, it's not a rubber stamp where you just hit the button and they get maxed out at 20. It depends on some other things.
Yeah, we'll get less if he was wearing a rubber, but you know. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We need a little button for that. Yes.
So let me ask you, you were apparently one of the reasons you wanted to come on was to tell stories of times that you used science, real good forensic science, to prove a client that truly was not guilty, or at
Right.
least defend them even if they were. So what is a great story of when you saw, oh, they've been making shortcuts on this, but we have found by testing this, what?
Well, I will tell you one of my favorite ever is we had a guy who had an alcohol problem for a long time, and he had already been to the penitentiary twice for DWI. Yeah,
All
and
right,
this was
yes, he should. Yeah, all right.
absolutely. I mean, and this was his either sixth or seventh. It's been 14 or 15 years, and this was right at the beginning when there was a transition. You remember how all the police you always heard with DWIs, they were always doing breath tests.
Uh,
And then it started transferring into transitioning into more blood tests, because people could refuse breath, and then you could go get a warrant for somebody's blood. Well, we had a guy, they took his blood, and his blood came back 3 times the legal limit. So he's looking at 25 to life.
oh
No
my.
ifs, ands,
Wait,
buts,
did he
or
hurt somebody or was he just driving drunk?
just because of his history.
Oh, all right,
Because he'd already been to the pen twice,
got
that
it.
was a felony DWI. So he punishment starts at 25. So and we were just when we were transitioning into the blood, and my partner and I, we had learned and we'd gotten certified by the American Chemical Society, being this lawyer scientist thing, so we kind of understood it. And you get stacks, I mean, like that much stuff from the lab, shows you everything, how they did, how they maintain the equipment, what their procedures, their protocols, I mean, very tedious stuff. So anyway, because we were good at this, when we went to trial, they didn't just bring the chemist, they brought the lab director. And we're sitting there and we can see that the result doesn't match how our guy looks on the camera. It just doesn't. Our guy doesn't look intoxicated. So anyway, so nobody at the lab, they're all jacking us around. They're not being, and we go to trial. We got no choice because the best offer we have on it is like 14 years. And there's some issues with probably appeal. So anyway, they bring the lab director and we're cross-examining him. And just like doctors, chemists are just like doctors. If there's something handwritten in the columns, in the margins, read that. It's important. Whenever a doctor writes something by hand on that report, probably important, just like a chemist. So we see something here that it says the auto sampler locked up. Well, we don't know what that means, and the chemist would never tell us. But when the lab director came, thank God for this guy, uber honest. I mean, one of the nicest guys. And like I said, we've maintained a relationship over the last 20 years. When his kid got in trouble down here, he called me, he got, transferred up to Austin. But anyway, so he gets on the stand and he sees this thing about this auto sampler. And he starts questioning, and he finally tells us, he points over there because he knows all the stuff he gave us. He goes, hand me that file I sent you guys. And gets over there and he looks at the metadata, which kind of shows what happened. And from the metadata, he can tell what the course of how the machine was working. Ultimately, after he reads the metadata, he literally sticks his head up. He has this horrible look on his face. He said, that blood's no good. And first question obviously is, what do you mean? He goes, well, I'm going to tell you what happened. He goes, where it said the auto sampler locked up. So basically how they test blood is they push the little button before they go home and the machine runs 45 vials at night. So right when it came to our vial, when our vial was the very next one, it locked up. And that's a warm machine. So from 6:45 at night till 7 o'clock in the morning when the person came back and did like that, like we used to hit our TVs, you know, that's what they did to the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
machine. Yeah. So the machine starts back up. And we looked at him, and still I'm not figuring out exactly why that's so important. And I said, Dr. Sanders, why is that so important? He goes, well, we cooked your blood for 12 hours. And then it light bulb went off, and I immediately knew what we won. So the bottom line is, just like wine, when you take the bacteria and you heat it up, it ferments. So bottom line is, our blood was fermenting for 12 hours. Totally, totally explains it. Science saved this guy 25 years of his life. That alone justified all the training
Wait, wait,
and
wait.
all the
What
hours.
did the other lawyers try to do on cross? Were
Well, when it got back to the state, this is really interesting.
Yeah.
The judge called us up right then and basically looked at the government and said, "Hey, you had enough yet?" I mean, the guy just gave Tad the case, and they go, "No, no, we can prove it without it. We don't need the blood." Which they could prove it in theory. Bottom line is the jury was out for 7 minutes on a 25 to life with a not guilty. So the judge told him to dismiss it, but they didn't want to. So the jury did it for him. But yeah, it was awesome. That was the most rewarding thing science has ever done for me.
And the guy that you defended who got off, he got in a car 2 hours later. He had
You know,
seven scotches.
I will be honest with you. He has called me back for further stuff, not felony DWIs, but other stupid stuff.
Uh, well, but still related to alcohol or just other kind of.
Other stuff, yeah. Just arguments with his wife that were probably related to alcohol, and you know,
So glad
people
you
don't
kept that
people don't
aggressive.
learn. You know that.
No, but I'm just saying, it's like, it'd probably be better for the world if he got him 25 to life. At some point he's gonna get in a vehicle and be riding on the wrong side of the road and not just hurt himself, or he's gonna smash his wife in the face with a bottle.
Amen. I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue that. I mean, I see it every day.
I love the law. I just got so what's another story of a defense that turned on, like, they had him and wasn't looking good, but then we figured out, boom.
Well, I'll tell you one cute little story though. It is funny, because we watch all these TV shows, and you see, there's just such an exact science, like CSI. I mean, they have a perfect scientific explanation for everything. It really is not like that in the real world. I mean, everything, good lawyers, we live in the gray area. I mean, there is no absolutes. And science doesn't have absolutes because there's always going to be questions about, is there contamination? And it's just like a computer, garbage in, garbage out. So who's ever doing the science part, if they're taking shortcuts, that causes problems too. But just to show you how um how crazy science can be. So I had a murder case I was doing, and ultimately this kid his car was stolen. He was shot on the beach, and it's shocking how in 10 days a body can decompose to just bones, especially in a hot environment. So they found these bones. Um, and so Dr. Korndorfer, isn't that a great
Dr.
name for an expert?
Korndorfer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. Korndorfer, he's our ME, our medical
Oh,
examiner, and he literally looks like the Nutty Professor. I mean, right out of Central Casting. It was great. And I knew his daughter from high school, and just a good guy, but just Nutty Professor. So we're in trial, and the government's putting on, and they're trying to establish that this was this kid, this young boy who owned this car, and it was him that was killed, and my guy killed him. And ultimately, so Dr. Korndorfer goes through his whole deal, and he's saying hey, measured the bones relative to the other bones and all this stuff. And he was 99% sure that it was a male between 15 and 17 years old.
The bones, not the.
Right, because of the bones, because of all
Yeah.
this math, and he's absolutely 99.9% sure it could be and, and then my first question to him was, well, could it have been a large girl? And he looks at me, he goes, oh, yeah, absolutely. It was just like, I mean, he just went 45 straight minutes of why it was a boy, and literally like that. It just goes to
A
show you.
big boned woman or a trangy boy, come
Yeah,
a fine leggy boy, but a big one. Yeah.
right. It was great, you
No,
know.
but that's the thing. TV makes us think that DNA
Yeah.
answers everything. Does it?
It's good. And again, this is what's great about DNA. What are there, 6 billion people in the world? I had a DNA case where my guy had robbed a bank and he ultimately,
Allegedly robbed a bank.
well, they kind of, well, it ultimately, he was on video pretty good. So I'm going to go with he did it. Anyway, while the cops were chasing him, he's throwing these bags of money out and because it went in the water, so they couldn't get fingerprints, but the way it was, they got DNA off the bag. And just to show you how, again, science is weird. So they come out, DNA can eliminate people. So when they came back to me, they said there was you know, there could be there's less than a 1 in 36 billion
Oh,
people chance that this isn't him. And that's what I was asking him. I was like, wait a second. There's only 6 billion people in the world. How do you eliminate the other 30 billion? I mean, are you eliminating people that have already died or people that are coming later? I mean, what are we doing here? And it's funny how they have no answer for that. I mean, it doesn't make the science less truthful. It's just bizarre to me
yeah. How if
that you
there's
can,
right? Yeah. Well, unless again, if you include the dead, maybe
yeah.
then maybe. But no,
Maybe that's their logic. But again,
yeah.
it just goes to show you if you put enough pluses and time signs by any numbers, you can make any number you want, you know. And that's the craziest thing, just about some of the science. There's science in theory should have a logical explanation. And I never really understood with DNA. And DNA, I trust it and I believe it. You know, um, I took a DNA class, that took like 10 days. And so I have a pretty good understanding of it. And I think it's good science. It really is. I just think when they do the math portion of it, when they extrapolate out the numbers, it just seems bizarre to
And
me.
there's just it's a fairy tale at that point, but the other stuff is
Yeah, yeah,
legit.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Let me ask
solid.
you, we're talking with Tad Nelson, the attorney. And by the way, if people want to hire you in the Texas-ish or any area, is it tadlaw.com?
Yeah, tadlaw.com. Yes, thank you.
Well, yeah, you're getting that good website name. So, are there cases now? I mean, again, you're not mentioning names or anything like that. That still make you lose sleep, like you were defending somebody and they got convicted, and you think, no, they really were, and they don't deserve, and they just got railroaded in or something.
Well, you know what? Of all the trials I've ever gone to, now I've seen people that probably should have been convicted get off because the government did a horrible job. The reality of it is, when I go to work, the misdemeanor prosecutors, which are the newer ones, some of those kids have been there 9 months, 12 months, 14 months. I mean, to be honest, they don't know a lot. And the scary thing is some of them, there's two kinds of kids. I mean, I think I was in the group where I was always afraid of what I didn't know. I was always trying to learn more. That's why I've gone to school my entire life. But there's some of these young kids these days that, I mean, at 12 months out, they're so confident they know everything. And, it's a disaster waiting to happen. So they screw up a lot of stuff. But the
But
entire
if they
time,
screw up a lot of stuff, that means that your clients are getting off. I'm saying other
absolutely.
times when the other thing happens, when
Right.
you've done your due diligence and for
Yeah.
whatever the jury doesn't believe you, and there's someone in or several people in prison who legitimately don't belong there.
Mhm.
Have
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Absolutely. I would say of all the trials I've ever done, I have one of them. It's been about 20 years that still bothers me. It's the only person I've ever thought, and maybe it was because I got too close to the family. This could be on me. I mean, I don't know. I remember I knew his mother. Um, I can't remember how, but I knew his mother. She got me to help him, and he was in charge of a pretty bad felony, touching a child, and I believed him. And the jury didn't. Jury convicted him, and that one's always bothered me. I still think about them a lot when I see his mother around. I always give her a hug, and um, so that one. But by and large, I mean, that's the only one in 34 years that I've really felt bad about. I can tell you, there's times when the jury says not guilty, and I'm like, how the hell did you do that? I mean,
That's
it's funny. The coordinators and the judges will tell me, like, when they said not guilty, you were the most shocked person in the courtroom.
that no, that is quite amazing. Okay, yeah, you. Let me also ask that you are. Is Texas a death penalty state? I don't recall.
Oh yeah,
So have you had to defend clients who have either gone or were threatened with death row?
absolutely. I've done like 5 capital murders. Um, I've never had to go to trial. I've always negotiated, brought enough mitigation to the government to get them to choose life. Uh, to be honest, 3 of them, they probably wouldn't have gone. Although they were capitals, just wanted lifetime in jail without parole. But there were 2 of them we really had to get some doctors in, get some mitigation evidence, basically show this person has been abused their whole life, blah blah blah, the whole bit, and that kind of it saves their life. So I've never had a client killed, but like I said, I've only done 5. It's not something it's I have a huge problem with the death penalty. I mean, it just seems so barbaric. When you look about, you know, it's like when you go into a room and there's good people and bad people. If you go stand over there with the bad people, you're probably a bad person. And when you look at the countries in the world that are doing the death penalty, that's not a group of countries I want to, say I'm part of. You just Google anybody watching you, Google who does the death penalty, and it's all the bad hombres. It's not one, it's not, and there's a couple that aren't that bad, but it's mostly some of the places you'd be afraid of.
You certainly don't talk like a Catholic Texan. I'm telling you, that's a little unexpected to hear that kind of less
Well,
conservative thinking from.
Well, let me tell you this. There's about 7 liberals here in Texas, and I know them all.
Well, there you and believe it, some of them are going to move now that we have a different administration there. But let me ask you though, you said that you have defended a lot of people that you know are guilty. Did you ever come across some people that really scared you that like this is an evil person? Maybe they weren't up for the death, but maybe they were just up for drunk driving or they were up for wife beating or something. But what?
To be honest, Rabbi, all the time. All the time. I mean, and as I've gotten older and my practice is bigger and what have you, and we have people, we can walk away from some of those, and there's, I get to decide who I represent these days, knock on wood, but we still do, sometimes people come in their first meeting with you, and they put on their best face, and then you don't realize what a sicko they are until down the line. And once you're in, you're kind of tied in. You've already promised the court you're going to represent this person. You believe in what you're doing. You can't just abandon them because, hey, I realize he's a sicker person than I thought. You know, um, yeah, it happens all the time. I mean, trust me, there's a large percentage of people I represent I wouldn't want to go have a beer with.
Okay. Maybe a Manischewitz wine, something a little less strong than a beer. So we're talking, by the way, with Tad Nelson. He is an attorney. You can get to him at tadlaw.com. If you have a family issue, if you have a DWI issue, if you have, is it, again, I don't know law enough. Can you operate outside Texas or it has to be a Texas?
Well, I also do federal cases, and federal I can sign in as get a pro hoc visa, which basically I become a friend of the court and I get a local to help me. I've done federal cases in California, North Carolina. Usually it's people that live here in Texas that are involved in stuff and need their lawyer close, and then we just go out. I had a pretty good theft case out of California that was a big deal. And then we had another uh, kind of a fake Levi Jean case coming out of North Carolina. It was a hoot, but yeah. So we're forging
They're
these two.
counterfeiting
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh, got it.
Which
Yeah.
was a hoot. I will tell you one story that I know you'll find funny being a rabbi. So I had this one guy. Um, and still when I was doing court appointed work, so this goes back 20, 25 years. And, so I'm going to the jail every night. This guy's locked in jail. And, and, and clearly, a lot of these people, they find God in jail, you know. Yeah, hey, you're preaching the choir there. I'm, of all the places God is, I'm pretty sure it's not the Galveston County Jail. That's one of the places I'm pretty sure God's not hanging out. But anyway, so
He's
we're
also
sitting
not in the Dunkin' Donuts restroom. I looked. He's
there.
not, but yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, so this guy, now I'll remember his name, Joe Boggedy, one of the, and nice little man, and maintained his innocence from the whole deal. I really think he was innocent. It was, crazy ex-girlfriend who they kind of got back together. It was nonsense. But anyway, he had to stay in jail for about a year and a half before we could try this case. And every time I go see him in jail, he's got his Bible and he's reading it. Then when we go to trial, we have a week-long trial. Instead of sitting there taking copious notes and handing me notes and saying, Tad asked this question, which he wasn't a very bright man, to be fair. But he's reading the Bible the whole time. And I'm okay, whatever. More power to you. It makes, so then he had to testify this was a touching a child case. So you've got to get up there and say, I didn't do it. So he gets up there, I question him, and he goes through it. He does really good for a not smart man. Then the government asks him some questions, and they're, how far did you get through school? Well, I dropped out of school in 7th grade. Can you read? No, I can't read. And so this guy's been reading this Bible, and so he comes back at the next break. I said, Joe, you can't read, but you've been reading this Bible since I met you 18 months ago. And this is the first time, I realized that there can be good people, and he looked me serious as, all get out. He says, Tad, I recognize some of the words and they make me feel good. Touching.
Yeah, well, he was touching somebody, but
No, I don't think he was.
he
That's
has an
good
answer
though.
for everything. Did you ever want to be a judge? Because
Never,
huh?
never.
Why not?
I look at it as, I'm the quarterback, and that's kind of the referee, they're kind of watching the game, where I'm moving the pieces.
So how long do you think? I mean, you're a very well put together, good looking guy, but you got some silver in your hair there.
I turned 60 in June.
You'll be 60.
In June.
Mazel, mit mazel. So do you think you'll continue, or do you have an eye towards like what you want to do for your later year?
Well, you'll love this. I'm 60 in June. I have one child. She is 7 years old. She is my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I take vacations. I enjoy my life. I go play golf around the world. We, take our little girl. We just got back took her to Australia, New Zealand over the holidays.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying my life, but I'm going to do this till 75 plus. I got no desire to slow down.
So you love it. You love the law.
Love
You
it.
love
Love
doing
it. Absolutely love it. I mean, there's bad parts like everything,
right. Yeah.
but I
So
love it.
what is something that you would recommend a regular person if they suddenly are involved and they have to go to court, they have to hire a law? What are things that people don't generally think of or know if I mean I've got to deal legally with things?
Well, in criminal law, I would always say make sure you get good counsel, talk to, and I always tell people go talk to more than one, because a lot of people are scared. They've never been with a lawyer and they talk to the first one. And there's a lot of people that, talk the talk, but don't really walk the walk. So just be careful, hire a good one. And, you know, do what they say and stay in contact with them. I mean, be involved in your case. And if you're, out on bond for, most cases take 9 months to 15 months. You're on double secret probation. Don't mess up while you're being
Oh,
evaluated. That's the biggest thing. And in most criminal cases, it's always important, right, when they hire me, like go get all the evidence. If there's going to be videos that are important, or there's going to be a receipt from the beer joint that shows you just had one beer, let's go get those now, because in 9 months they're gonna lose
well,
them.
actually, wait. Here's I'm going to interrupt you there because one of the things that they say is if you're ever stopped for DUI or DWI, and the cop asks you, "Did you have anything to drink?" You never say, I had just one beer." Or you
Right.
just sort of refuse to answer the question, or just, "No, I didn't have anything"? Do you lie?
Right. Yeah,
Um,
there's always some problem in no matter what you say, but it seems like people always say I had one or two beers. That's like the standard answer for people that are drunk. And it's probably best to say nothing,
right, yeah.
you know.
Should you
Probably,
ever do, as a lawyer, give the advice that no matter what, leaving aside even alcohol stuff,
right?
don't talk to a cop ever without a lawyer. About if they're asking you about anything ever, say, you know what? Don't talk to cops without an attorney present.
Without a doubt. That's very important because you don't know what they have. And I'll tell you another little thing. When I moved offices in 2001, and I get a lot of people that are accused of crimes before they're actually charged with the crime. The cop reaches out to them. We want to hear your side. So when I first got this office, and I called 40 times that happened. And I reached out to those officers. And I basically said, hey, I'm not going to let you talk to my guy, but my guy's maintaining his innocence. Send me an email. Ask me any questions. I'll get you the answers. I'm giving them information. One detective took me up on that. Now we're great friends because of this, because that showed how honest he was. Because as a detective, start detecting. Information is powerful. They know where I got the information. I'm not making it up. Obviously, I'm putting my guy at my desk. He's telling me how to answer the question, and I'm sending it to them. The only difference is they can't hang him with it. If it turns out something else comes up, they can't take what I said and use it against him in court. They can't say like, well, you said the guy's shirt was blue. We got a picture now that it was red. Well, if I said the guy's shirt was blue, they can't use that against him in court. But information is still powerful, but they didn't want it. That is so offensive to me.
I'm still my head's spinning a little bit from this. So wait, if you got the thing that you're quoting verbatim from your
Well, you
client,
don't know that I'm quoting it verbatim because I don't really say this is a transcript of my guy. I'm just saying, here's what happened, you know? But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out I don't know what happened and where I got it. I'm basically telling the cop, here's what's really happened. Here's what our position is. Either go prove this or go disprove it. You know, you're a detective. You should want both sides. I'm just not letting you record mine because you didn't record the other one. That's what you know what that's what goes on in the grand jury. Like when you have a grand jury hearing and witnesses come in there, they just talk to the witnesses. But if the alleged criminal comes in there, the alleged defendant, they hit the record button. They only record him. That
because
doesn't really seem fair, does it?
essentially hearsay, or is that not the
Well,
right?
that would be an admission, but you would want everybody's statements recorded, I would hope. Why is it any different? But it's just how it works. There's a lot of inequities against the citizen accused.
Now, let me ask you, and by the way, we've been talking with Tad Nelson, who's been very kind to spend this time with us in the neighborhood, discussing law, discussing what he does, his great cases and things like that. If you have a problem or you want to create a problem for somebody else, remember you can go to tadlaw.com. So last question for you, because just on Netflix, we were watching the whole mini series about the OJ case, and you alluded to that when we were talking. So you must have been cheering, though, for Johnny Cochran and all his people basically defending a murder. As you said, you could go to the grave going, no, obviously he was guilty. But what did like Marsha Clark and Christopher Darden do wrong?
I don't know that they did anything wrong. I think, to be honest, I think if that was retried again in today's world, there was just so much going on with the tensions in LA, the racism. To be honest, Johnny Cochran, it was beautiful what he did. You talk about it, and not just what he does in the courtroom, his understanding of his time and place. And I don't think that could have been done anywhere else in the country. I can tell you, I was driving from court back to my office when they read the verdict. I was shocked because I watched a lot of it. I thought it was overwhelming, but
It
they
was
reached it.
overwhelming.
Exactly. But they reached into that whole Mark Furman thing and the racism, and I know he said he was writing a book and whatever, but you're the lead detective, and that, at least it gave him something. And beyond a reasonable doubt is a very high standard. Hey, they might have been right adjacent to that. They might have been really close, you know. At the end of the day, he lost the civil case. I mean,
Right, yes.
everybody knows OJ killed those people.
Uh, but it doesn't sound like you were shocked in the way of like how they're like a murderer off. You were like, man, that's some good lawyering.
Yeah. I mean, by and large, I thought, and Barry Shack, I know Barry personally,
Oh,
fabulous. He did some amazing work in that. Arguing about how they did the blood and the blood might not have been right. I mean, they had good questions for everything Marcia and Darden brought.
all right. Well, wow. Honesty, truth, this is good. From Tad Nelson. So, yeah, I mean, if I were in Texas and I did something really terrible, and who knows, I might end up going to Texas and doing something really terrible.
No, don't
No.
come here. It's no good. I'm ready to get out. I've got one of the few houses I can walk out my front door and I can see a Trump parade.
Oh, well, wow. Yeah. Well, what do you think? I mean, do you think that the legal system is going to be affected over the next 4 years by all the firing and the this and the that? Do you think that's going to be?
Absolutely. Some of the stuff, I mean, I don't know how political you want to be, but some of the stuff the DOJ is doing right now and the leader of the FBI, I mean, these people are certifiable and they're not qualified for the positions they're being put in.
Yeah.
And they're put there for one reason. They will carry Trump's water.
Right,
It's
right.
that simple. And like you see some of the stuff like the deal they worked out with the mayor of New York. I mean, it's crazy. Where are you sitting right now?
Oh, well, I'm in Maryland, so
Okay,
I'm
you're in Maryland.
fairly
But
far. Yeah.
but what's going on in New York with letting that guy go? I mean, I feel like the mayor of Crazy Town down here.
Wow. But you wouldn't leave Texas. I mean, you wouldn't go.
I can't leave. This is where I literally live 18 miles from where I grew up. I mean, so all my practice is based on, these relationships that I've done. But I can tell you, this will always be home, but I leave here a lot.
Well, you just went to Australia, New Zealand. That's pretty good. Ever been to
Yeah.
Israel? I do have to ask. Have you been to
I
Israel?
haven't been, but I'm dying to go. I've been to a couple places in Northern Africa. I've been to a couple places in the Middle East. Got 57 stamps on my passport day.
Well, Mazel Tov. Well, make Israel next.
I
And
will.
come to Maryland. I've got a couple of parking tickets I would like you to look at. But we'll talk. We'll talk.
Love to do it.
Tad Nelson from tadlaw.com. Thank you so much. Wishing you much success, especially defending the innocent. The guilty, I still have some problem with, but absolutely defend the innocent and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your year.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Shalom to you. Bye-bye now. Tad Nelson in the Daverhood, my friends. Wasn't that fascinating? Weren't that interesting? Wasn't it sometimes a little frustrating, but also just like, whoa, the way lawyers think. They do say there's a special section in hell for lawyers. He's already done. He's done this show, which is similar. But thank God for defense attorneys also. Hello, shalom. Shalom. Dave's wife is itching to get back with Dave on and do other things. But let me remind you that you can learn more about me at shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T. Shalomdammit.com. This is where you can watch my stage show, Shalom Dammit, an evening with me. There I is. Look how cute I am. Thank you. It's also the place you can watch the episodes of the TV show that I did for Long Island Cable. This is so mega.
The chung chung.
Oh, wait, I gotta do the chung chung there. Hold on. Ta-da. Yeah. Fine fun with Tad. So shalomdammit.com is the place for all your rabbinical soul needs. Wasn't that great? So let me bring Dave back so he can talk to his lovely and adorable and darling wife. I am Sol Solomon, shalomdammit.com. I also have at Rabbi Sol Solomon is my Twitter handle. I don't have a TikTok thing because I have trouble with my glasses reading clocks, but I'll work on it. And shalom to you. Yeah, I do. I have your phone here. Yeah. So I opened the show talking about, snow this week and then the whole snowstorm and feeling like a kid again. I swear to you, we're in Maryland here, and it is flurrying outside right now. We're getting flurries. I don't think anything is due. Yeah.
wish that you had a fancy suit, and did you ask him, did Saul ask him why he has the relentless sign?
Well, I assume I didn't ask, but you gotta figure a lawyer has to be. Going after the, I was going to say it was a great lay.
Is a 3.8 in Malibu? What is that?
I don't know. No, probably a friend on our Facebook feed. Anyway, Dave Lefkowitz here. This is our 977th episode of the Dave's Gone By show.
Jackie Martin, and his 77th birthday, at the track bag on ponies. Jackie knows the ponies after all as a child. That's how his mail was delivered. That was John Melendez.
Oh no, yeah, Stuttering John.
Yeah, they're
Oh, good. They're co-texting, whatever. And we have had, I have always wanted to have him back, but it hasn't worked out. I've wanted to get Jackie Martling, Jackie the Joke Man, back on the show. He was on several years ago and really good guest and really great talking about his years on, of course, the Stern Show, but he's also still a comedian. And you still see him in places on Long Island and the East Coast doing his thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he's one of those comedians like Henny Youngman. One individual joke may not be that funny, but he's just one after the other is relentless.
It's experience, right? It's the experience
of being hit with joke after joke, and he's enjoying the jokes, and he's laughing and telling them, and you get into the jag of wow, and he'll every fifth joke is really hysterically funny. So the next four don't have to be that great, but you keep the cycle rolling. That's what a great comedian does. Anyway. It is, what time is it? It's like 10 to 11 Eastern time in the Daverhood here. We've done Greeley Times. We've had our visit from lawyer Tad Nelson. And what else have we done? I've talked to you about the weather and the snow. What else can we talk about? And we have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned coming, which I didn't mention is about Breen, Colorado. There's a place in Colorado called Breen, Breen. I'm going to read a really disgusting, evil, awful poem about that poem that Tad Nelson would have to defend me in court and lose if I told. But I've got that coming. We have our friends of the neighborhood. I also want to do, since we've been talking, and my wife especially, but I have been too, schlepping back and forth to New York. Do you have water? You okay? I have a little water here.
I also started making bread, so I think I made my breakfast. Thank you for laying out, but I think I had touched a flour, and I think I got.
Oh, you got inhaled a little flour there.
I start sneezing. Okay.
Yeah. Well, if you inhaled some yeast, I might get a rise out of you. Anywho, one thing I also wanted to do, because we've been schlepping back and forth, especially you have, to New York, is it's been a while since we've done StoryTime on Dave's Gone By. So StoryTime started. Well, I'm not complaining.
The babies want to hear it.
The baby loves
a baby.
Yes, of course.
That's how you read the babies. Yeah.
So, StoryTime it started literally in a book I found in a gas station about Hans and his goats. It was like a pre-young adult book. The story of Hans in pre-World War I Germany. Basically, poor family, but they have this big farm, and Hans just wants to buy like a cow. Oh, it was a cow, it wasn't goats. All he wants to do is to have a cow so that his family can have milk and do it.
It's like having a car or something. It's the utility you need to live. I mean, it wasn't like you wanted a cow as a pet. The cow was going to be milk and meat, probably.
So Hansel, has to go through all this stuff just to get enough money so he can buy a cow from a neighbor to have a cow. And we read this book because it was kind of ridiculous, but also a decent story, week after week on the show. And it just got us into a jag of being able to read books, sometimes make fun of them on the air, real actual books. And so we have a new one. We just found this one yesterday in the local library. And we thought, you know what? We've been so back and forth to New York. Let's have a New York book. And let's have a special New York book called Let's Count NYC, written by Numbers and Colors in the Big Apple.
Wow.
And we thought, we start paging through it, and it's like, oh, this is cuter than you would expect.
You give me my phone, I'll give you the picture of the big chicken.
Oh,
Not
the big pigeon. Yeah.
Remember that picture you took?
Yeah, because we were in a couple of weeks ago and not even really paying attention, but we were walking around, I guess, towards Midtown, and they had a statue in an overpass of a pigeon, which is the classic New York bird, but it was a statue 4 times the size of me. It was enormous. This enormous pigeon. I might have deleted most of them or just left one. I just went through the pictures the other day. So I might have taken it off the feed. But it was this genius idea of a real, not some public art, avant-garde, ridiculous sculpture, not that thing that they had many, many years ago where it was sort of a curved wall and it was dangerous because if you walked near it, a mugger could come at you. But no, this is real. This is
That's
a-
the actual size. It's not that,
oh, this is a real
that's
bird.
real pigeon.
This is, you can see
Yeah.
there's people standing there. This is an enormous statue of a pigeon in New York. This is why, as much as New York can suck, it's annoying, it's terrible, it's this, it's that, it's going all to hell. There really is only one New York. New York is New York. You can't get that anywhere else.
Fun of themselves. I mean, you get the joke of like,
Yeah.
we always make fun of the pigeons, but they call them rats with wings, but then you have a giant pigeon over a bridge looking at
Yeah.
traffic.
And where else do you get, it probably moved from New York to other places. But when people go on strike
Oh, the rat,
yeah, they have this
I
giant,
love it. It's like a
Yeah.
huge blow up rat. I love.
an inflatable rat
They
with
put it
big,
in front of a non-union shop when anyone crosses the picket line. Yeah.
that too. I mean, I'm sure they do it now all over the country, but that was such a New York thing. The giant union rat, wonderful. Again, only New York kids. Do they have the union rat or the giant pigeon in here? Let's count NYC as we do our very special segment that we like to call Story Time.
Tell me a story, tell me a story, tell me a story, remember what you said. You promised me, you said you would, you gotta give it, so I'll be good. Tell me a story, then I'll go to bed.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that's Teresa Brewer. I'm not sure, but very peppy. Here we go. So children, huddle up by your computers. It's time for story time. Let's count New York City. Silver Empire State Building, glass shimmering like ice. Okay, very nice. I guess this is going to rhyme. I'm not sure. Very, very pretty. Again, New York skyline will never quite be the same since 9/11, but this is kind of pretty. Okay. Shimmering like ice. Yellow cabs in Soho.
It's counting how many. What's the number 2?
2. Oh, 2 yellow cabs in Soho.
Nice.
We can shop and grab a slice.
Guess what? Yeah, but now they're taken over by Uber and Lyft. There ain't no yellow cabs.
That's right. How old is this book?
I think the yellow cabs also do Uber and Lyft now. You know that.
I guess they have to. Wait, where's the information on this thing? This book was written in copyright 2024. So this is very post Uber and
I
Lyft.
guess they're doing things that are like nostalgic, right?
Yeah, two yellow Ubers in.
Yeah, there's no other traffic, right? That's normal.
That's right.
What is that like? What is that like 1 a.m.? I've never seen a street in New York where there's only 2 cabs.
Well, actually, this is post Bloomberg, where maybe he has that roads where you can't have. It's all people with tables and stuff. Yeah. There's like a bicycle messenger who's killed 3 people on who's through already. And notice how no litter.
The foot of the chair is on a chicken.
Oh no.
And there's no people. When have you ever seen New York where there's no people?
Yeah, no people, no vermin.
Yeah.
All the trees are exactly the same kind and exactly the same size. Yeah.
And the pizza shop has no door. That's horrible. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
AI. It's like, we'd like pizza, but there's no door and it's dark and.
This is New York after not the nuclear holocaust. What's that? Remember the smart
Armageddon?
bomb?
Yeah.
Yeah, where it kills all the people and leaves the buildings.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Orange balloons fly.
3? How many? 3 up to.
Oh, sorry, I always forget the number. 3 orange
Here,
balloons fly in the Thanksgiving Day parade. So there they are. Yeah. These are children running from some of the clients of that lawyer.
That's horrible. I mean, first of all, what the heck's up with that turkey? And then, yeah, there's no spectators at the parade. There's just a bunch of children running with huge pumpkins. I don't think so.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with Macy's Day Parade. It is diverse. I've got to say, there's a lot of little black children, which, yeah.
They probably can only use pumpkins because everything else might be trademarked.
Yeah, you can't put Snoopy
No.
or
But something's wrong with that turkey.
what was that show that about the grandfather and the kid? That was he's a scientist. Oh, how can I forget this? Rick and Morty. Remember the Rick and Morty balloon? That's not here. Not here.
Let's see what's number 4. Maybe 4 will be better.
4, count them 4. Speaking of 9/11, 4 red fire engines pass the crowd at One World Trade. Why? I mean, of all things to remind people of.
You know, and first of all, they don't have they have numbers, but they wouldn't have. See, they have numbers, but
Yeah.
the numbers they would not all be there. The numbers like 1, 6, 5, and 10.
Yeah.
Those are the firehouses. Like you'd have to know the firehouses by World Trade Center.
Yeah, that's right. Is this how the World Trade? I mean, I have
I
not
don't
been
know, not been.
since they rebuilt and reopened.
What does One World Trade Center look like now? Yeah, look.
Oh, so it got that weird
That
sort of,
thing,
yeah. All right.
I mean, okay, what firehouses in terms of number are closest to World Trade Center? Okay, 10, so it's 10. Only 10 would be the house.
Well, 10 is here.
Yeah,
Actually,
but
they have
the other
10.
ones wouldn't be there.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, not to scare children, but there's a commercial airliner flown by Ahmed Mukul Kakal. He's just going to be flying into there.
It's sparse, like they did some things, but then they could have used AI to fill out the scene a bit. We kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's very watercolory.
Yeah, but they make New York look like there's nobody there and it's constantly filled with people.
Yeah, although there's a cute little dog here. They do have a cute little dog by One World Trade. You can
And
sort
it's
of,
on a scooter, yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Okay, let's see.
there's some
And
activity.
I saw somebody in a wheelchair too, like.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
but no lawyer. This is One World Trade Center. It should all be like screaming lawyers and the
Yeah,
Dow
thank you.
Jones. Yeah. And here we go. Speaking of diversity, 5 people on the subway wearing black from
Yeah,
head to
that's
toe. There they are. So, of course, you've got the hipster lawyer, the schmuck,
They're
Hey.
drinking a coffee, yeah.
like the hot persnickety chick probably going to MIT. Oh, no,
MIT.
FIT,
FIT.
right. The Arab girl,
And look at the that's how men sit on the subway, taking up 2 seats with his,
he is manspreading.
yes, with the bike too. Good Lord, out
Well-
of the newspaper.
Yeah, well, I don't, this is probably,
I don't
Another
think that's
person's
it.
bike. that's not gonna be his bike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The bike is for 6.
Oh, right, so we see the
And plus,
bike.
there's no
Well, yeah,
homeless-
well,
there's
we don't
no-
know if this is her bread.
There's no people sin casa, you know, there gotta be people sin
Yeah,
casa.
Yeah, there's no, you can't,
And
you
there's
can't-
no
yeah.
identification of what subway it is.
now, if this were a scratch and sniff book,
Oh,
there would be like urine smell,
yes.
you know, old bum shit from 3 weeks ago.
I
Ah.
saw a video.
Well, what was that?
It was a person without a
Head?
no, it was a person who was homeless, you know, experiencing homelessness,
Yeah,
and they were sleeping and a mouse crawled on them, and they didn't even wake up. Like, I mean, I don't know. They must have been unconscious because I don't know how, honest to goodness, you don't wake up when something's crawling on you. But it was very upsetting. to
actually,
see
no, because yeah, if I were asleep and then I woke up because a mouse was crawling on me, that would be much worse
Yes,
than
yes,
sleeping
yes.
through a mouse crawling on me.
He bit him. I don't know what happened.
probably
I
not.
watched the whole thing. It was upsetting.
Well, remember a couple of months ago, the guy was arrested. He set fire to a homeless guy on the subway. That's worse. I'd rather have a mouse on me than some lunatic setting fire to my clothing.
So you know the people who live in the caves of the subway.
Yeah.
I never understood it. And one day we were on, this is when the L was called LL, the double L, it's the
Yeah.
L train. It goes from Manhattan to Brooklyn through Queens
Yeah.
to Brooklyn. And we stop. And the conductor says nothing. And then he's like, we have a person on the tracks. And all you see is people coming up from the tunnel like zombies. They live in the subway tunnels. And
Wow.
I didn't, I was probably in college, going to college at the time. And I was horrified because it was so scary. It was like, I don't like zombies, but it was like zombies. They live in the dark, like
Oh, yeah.
in the subway tunnel. It scared the bejesus out of me. I was scared.
You know what? I would still take that over North Dakota. But
Okay, go ahead. What's number 5? 5 or 6? What number?
well, this was number 5
Okay.
on the
Oh,
subway.
both of the.
The slots have
I
been
gave you
moving.
the Tootsie.
There we
Oh,
go.
and you lost your
I
pillow.
lost my pillow. It's
You want
fine.
your pillow?
Nah, I'm okay. So I'll
Yeah,
take it.
Okay.
All right. So we're on to 6
Yeah.
of this book about Let's Count NYC. Number 6
You
is,
should make a real one.
what do you mean?
Six rats fighting over a piece of bread.
Well, for some people, this is the equivalent 6 cops in Navy uniforms helping,
doing
Navy
YMCA.
color. Yeah.
Wow.
MC.
YMCA.
They are. Look at that. The MCA. Helping traffic
Yeah,
flow.
but none of them have a baton out or a taser.
Yeah, because it's useless in New York. It doesn't matter if there's a cop standing. New York traffic is still like 1 mile an hour. Delivery people zipping in, people on scooters.
That's would be the most scary job because I
Yeah.
know cars are at least 2 tons, right? They're heavy metal. And you just have your body, which basically has bones as a cage. You don't stand a chance. If anybody
Oh, yeah.
is driving and doesn't see you or wants to hurt you, a car's gonna hurt you bad.
Yeah.
Like, is
So
your-
more,
is-
what's the
Is
matter?
your thing plugged in? There's an empty, oh, it's another plug. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It's
it's
a really dangerous job.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, but again, cars go so slowly in most of New York, of Manhattan. It's really more the
Yeah.
people on those bikes and the bike mess. And now everybody's driving those e-bikes.
And the scooter.
Yeah. So,
And the scooter.
so here's some police. They're all weirdly young.
And they're doing YMCA, which I
Yeah.
like.
And this,
Well, they're just doing this. Yeah.
now she does have the coffee, but nobody's having a donut.
Oh, that's not true. So I tell you, like every time I've taken pictures of police coming out of donut shops just for the, fun.
Yeah.
And I stopped it because it makes me laugh so hard. Like they come out with, and I'm like, wow, like live
Live the stereotype. Well, it's like a cab driver.
The donut I brought.
I just love yummy. Like the cab drivers who, the cliche is they go in the Indian hole in the wall restaurants. And they do. I would. I did. It's tasty. Why wouldn't I? Now, speaking, you were talking about donuts. I was talking about donuts
Yeah, what?
before. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the best thing in the book right here. Rabbi Sol would love
That's
this.
not- I can't see.
So that was 6 cops. Now we have, this is real,
What? Whoa.
7 fresh brown bagels topped with schmear and lox.
What's a bagel? Brown bagel.
I know, yeah.
They're
Pumpernickel, maybe.
That's an everything bagel. One of them is a salt. One of them is
Yeah,
a
this is sesame, probably
That's it.
salt,
Yeah.
maybe.
Those bagels it's not flat like that.
Yeah, they're more like flagels or something, yeah.
Like a Bialy.
And this is also way too much cream cheese.
Yeah. Ugh.
It's just like
And
melting
that's
with,
what you eat with lox. I mean, what about people who?
well, no,
And
this
what
is a
about
nice lox.
Parsley on it. Parsley on it.
Oh, it's lettuce.
Oh, really? It's
Yeah.
like parsley.
But I only wish most bagel places gave you this much lox on a bagel. Too much cream cheese.
That's why it's
Oh.
a fake story, honey. It's
Yeah.
a fake story.
I mean, it's almost looks like a chicken. It's like they
It
clumped the
looks
whole
like
raw
a-
chicken. Yeah. But all right. Very New York. 7 fresh brown bagels topped with, and they don't really say ashmir.
Yeah.
So this writer can't be Jewish. It's ashmir and like not topped with schmear and lox. No,
Oh.
sorry. Even Slothy's bending over, vomiting.
Baba.
There he
I
is.
guess it's the equivalent of this last Baba.
Oh, actually, no. This is written by Adina Oberman. Okay,
So
yeah.
let's see what's 8. Are we up to 8 or
We are up to 8. Illustrated, by the way, by Volha Kaliaha. All right. Volha
I mean,
Kaliaha.
you should see if there's a series. You could get Let's Count. all
Let's
the
count. Yes.
Yeah,
All
order
right.
it from the library, like Let's do Let's Count Baltimore,
Right.
Let's Count Philly, they must have different cities for kids.
Let's count corpses in the Hudson.
Oh, God.
Here we go. Oh, and here we go. This is,
Oh.
yeah. Wow, the slots are really going at it.
Yeah, maybe the snow intrigues them.
8 gold trumpets play Harlem jazz everywhere we walk at the jazz festival. Because yeah, this is definitely like the
Oh, that, what that reminds me of the tuba thing we saw in Greeley. What's the tuba?
tuba extravaganza.
Tubaganza or something. Oh my goodness, that's not right.
Yeah, this is just yeah. And only this guy is on heroin.
Oh, good.
All the others no. Yeah.
That's why his legs are bent like that. He has no knees. Your legs can't make the letter C like that. You'd have to be Plato or something.
So we're up to 8, or we've done 8. Now we're up to 9, of course. 9 white dogs bark and play. What a happy sound. All right.
Is that NYU supposed to be the fountain?
I wouldn't be
Or
shocked.
Central
Or Central Park.
Central Park.
This feels more so because there's no art. If there was
the
Washington
arch.
would have the arch.
Yeah.
But it could be the Washington Square Park, which is more likely to have like this kind of activity with white dogs and stuff.
Dachshund, that's not real.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a poodle. There's no.
Oh, give me 1 second. You gave me a present. I gotta put my card in.
Oh, all right.
Out there, I forgot.
Sure.
Give me a second.
10, count them, 10 shoes make a rainbow of sneakers downtown. I don't know how this is particularly New York. They do have the crosswalk thing, but it just does no.
What are you showing? Let me see.
This doesn't say New York to me at all.
Oh, no, nobody wears sneakers. I mean, it may be like years ago, this is in the 1980s, women used to wear sneakers and change into shoes. People wear sneakers, but not like that. They're
No.
gonna wear like Air Jordans, Nike, they're gonna wear like.
Yeah, no,
I've never seen, like, no.
No. And this is the last one of the book. This is the whole book.
What
There's
is
no.
there any like summary? See if, what's the series called? Give it to me.
It's called Let's Count.
Okay,
Maybe.
let me see, I want to see if there's more. Let's Count New York City. Are there any more books like it? Let's Count New York.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And it's a new book, so maybe the first in a series. Maybe they'll do Let's Count San Francisco, Let's Count Chicago, Let's Count Puxatawney.
I think it's won an award.
Really? Well, it's rather nice looking, isn't
Let's
it?
Count Regional Board Books. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Let's Count Regional Board Books series. Oh,
Oh, so they do have. Let's
you
see.
gotta get yeah.
Let's Count Texas.
You gotta get the Colorado.
Colorado, definitely. Well, who knew this existed? Here we
I
go.
didn't, especially for your show, honey.
Let's Count California. They have. Here's. See, there it is. So I mean, it's cool. Texas, California. Then probably. Wow. Let's Count Idaho. We know what that one is, Daddy. It's 1 potato, 2 potato, 3. There's nothing else in Idaho. Let's just count potatoes. And they're fine with that, as potatoes would be. So of course they carry the New York. Maybe they have a Maryland.
We can see. I can't see.
Oh God! Look at this one.
Let me see.
The hell is wrong with this frog? Oh, stupid cookies. All right, here we go.
What?
Ah!
What state is that?
No, this is just another Let's Count book, a different count book.
Counting what?
Yeah, well, yeah. Frogs with blepharitis. I don't know. That's awful. And then how appropriate is this? I'm just gonna show this one to you, hon. Oh, you're doing your thing. But check this one out, Pip, real quick.
Let me see, hold on. Okay. Wait, okay. Oh, cute, I like that.
Yeah, but notice the name. Yeah. Anyway, so
Code is.
well, I for Valentine's Day I got my wife a gift card to Starbucks because she loves the unsweetened iced tea. So she's trying to figure out
I think this must be, I'm gonna try.
inputting it so she can do the app on her phone and get Starbucks. But anyway, Let's Count NYC, Numbers and Colors in the Big Apple, written by Adina Oberman, illustrated by Volha Kalyaha. Numbers and colors
Oh,
are.
I did it. Thank you, honey. See,
You're very
I
welcome.
feel proud when I can do something.
I can tie my shoes.
Yeah.
I still can't tie my shoes.
I'll get you a nice chestnut coffee later.
Ooh,
Because
nummies.
it's nice. Chestnut.
In on the open.
Well, the Colorado one, you could show.
Well,
people.
yeah, if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we literally saw, you saw this and grabbed
The
it.
library,
Yeah.
direct, what is it, indirect loan, direct?
Yeah. If they don't have it at our branch, they'll have it somewhere else. In this dynamic, colorful primer, young readers count from 1 to 10 as they discover the places and other wonderful things that make New York City so unique. One corrupt mayor.
I remember so she was from Poland. She was at Pace when I first started teaching. This is early, like 2000.
Yeah.
And she had a bag and it said New York SHITTY. And I was like, and she was like, oh, like this kind of the Soviet bloc kind of humor of like, oh, ha, 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 it's so funny. It was like, it's so funny. She thought it was like the funniest thing ever.
Oh, she really did think it was.
She thought it was hysterically funny, like making fun of it, like, and everyone would laugh. And I was like, oh my God. That was the class where one student had a phone on her. It was like, she's a very kinky girl. The Super Freaks start playing, and I start laughing. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Speaking of phones, before we get to, because we've got our Colorado Limerick of the Damned left, and we did Greeley Times. We did. We're done with that. And then, we need this.
Oh, I can look for word of the day if you want that.
Oh, we can also do the we haven't done Dave's Big Dictionary in a while.
I found the thing.
But gotta talk, and I'm not gonna be specific about
What
it.
is Merriam-Webster's word of the day?
I'm not gonna be specific about this, and
David, no, you have to look.
Yeah. Oh, this actually ties in. This is the word. Yes, we're going to do Dave's Big Dictionary. We have to, because what word of the day? And we haven't done this in a while. Dave's Big Dictionary is the name of the segment, and it's just basically a random word, and then I have to talk extemporaneously about it for 5 or 10 minutes, or whatever it brings to mind. And my wife, well, for a while, we were just paging through the dictionary, but then Merriam-Webster itself, as a way of staying relevant.
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's like a Wordle. People are interested in what's the Wordle of the day.
Right.
So you could do what's the word of the day. I think whoever did that was really smart.
So we will do this very shortly. The word that they came up with.
Get up on your share screen if you want to. You don't have to.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can also show it. But Webster's word of the day for today, February 15th, 2025, is livid. Livid. And yes, I've been livid a few times in my life. So I will definitely, without much trouble, probably find things to talk about in terms of the word livid. Speaking of making me livid, and again, I'm not going to share any real reasons or whatever, but we've been on the phone as best we.
Please don't.
No, about social? No, fine.
Please don't. I can't take it.
All righty, then let's get to the word livid. Let's do it.
I can't. Just say that dealing with governmental stuff makes you angry, but please don't.
All right, but not just angry. Livid. Then let me have the phone. I didn't write kibbit. I put it in a box. It looks like kibbit. All right, you're right. Kibbit. Sounds like a Hebrew word. So the word, I might as well look it up here then on my computer. The word livid, according to Webster, means very angry, enraged, or furious. It can also mean discolored by bruise. Oh, I always wondered, they talk about lividity in a corpse or in a body, lividity. So, and Rabbi Sol, when he's very angry, he reads from Leviticus. This is, of course, what else could it be but Dave's Big Dictionary. Extra, tell all about it. It's Dave's Big Dictionary. So as I said, it's literally, I was not planning to speak on this today, but we grab a word and then I start to think of like, hey, what does this word bring to mind? What does it make me think of? So the word today is livid, and they get a little bit more about it because Merriam-Webster stuff is actually very cool when they do it. Word of the day, and here they give an example of a sentence. The teen's parents were livid when they discovered she had lied about her whereabouts, and he had a livid bruise on his right arm. So now, did you know? Did you know that Limerick has a colorful history? The Latin adjective livere, to be blue.
Oh, that one says it means blue. That makes sense. Like a bruise is blue. And
Right.
when you're mad, you get, I guess you get blue.
Blue,
You get
right.
red.
Yeah, you get red when you get mad. But it gave rise to the Latin lividus, meaning discolored by bruising. French adopted the word along with its meaning as livide, which English borrowed in the 15th century as livid. So, for a couple of centuries, it just meant bruised flesh, as well as a shade of dark gray and other colors with a grayish tone. By the 18th century, people were livid, first by being pale with extreme emotion. They even quote Henry James here with a pale, lean, livid face. And then by being reddish with the same. His face glared with a livid red, which I don't know would be pale. That's by another writer.
Unusual.
By the late 19th century, a livid person could also be furiously angry, which is what we really mostly feel is the word's meaning today. So let's see if there's any other, yeah. So, okay, livid. What does the word livid make me think of? As a person whose general undercurrent is frustration, anger, disappointment, jealousy, rage, rage, all those things. But livid is a whole other level that I usually don't reach, right? Livid is just. Well, I was just thinking of this, like when I was teaching the film class, actually 2 semesters ago, or 1 semester ago, at one of the universities I'm at, and I wanted to show examples of TV programs of the 1970s because it was all about not just movies but media. So part of that was folding in episodes of like The Twilight Zone, an episode of I Love Lucy, so that it wasn't just film. I mean, how you cram film history, media history, animation history, and TV history and radio history all into one friggin' 16-week course is just beyond belief to me. 15-week course. So that kind of makes me mad, but not livid. But I was thinking of showing an episode of All in the Family because it was such a watershed program in sitcom history. Because Norman Lear bridged the gap between 1950s Leave It to Beaver and Andy Griffith and all of that, and My Favorite Martian and My Little Margie, to being grown up, right, and dealing with serious topics in a comical way, but an underlying sort of serious way. And Lear really changed television. I mean, Carl Reiner did a little bit of it with the Dick Van Dyke Show, but it really didn't have that sea change of what we expect now from comedy, certainly when we're watching it, not even on the networks, but in other places. And so I couldn't really find an episode that I wanted to show them and had time to show them. Instead, I ended up showing last time a Morgue episode that went over pretty well to again make the case that Norman Lear dealt with certain cultural issues. But there's never been a better example for me of the word living. I was just thinking about this again this week, of wishing I could have shown them the somewhat later All in the Family episode. I don't know if you remember this one. And it takes place, I think, either on Christmas or Thanksgiving. And it must have been shot in the mid to late 1970s when it had to be late 19 after Carter was in office.
Oh, wow.
So Mike and Gloria have a friend, an academic kind of friend, who during the Vietnam War went to Canada and got out. Just didn't go to serve. Literally was one of the thousands and thousands of young Americans who, whether for pacifist reasons or for scared reasons, or both, didn't want to go shipped off to Vietnam. But now he's back because Carter has pardoned all the Vietnam vets. No, sorry, not the Vietnam vets, all the Vietnam non-vets, the folks who ran away, and didn't serve their country during those years, right? So this person's back in the States because he's been granted amnesty, and Mike and Gloria invite him over to dinner at the bunker house, right? Do you remember this one?
Tell me, I'm trying to, my memory is not,
Yeah. And with Archie and Archie's friend who's was also a war veteran and all that, and Archie is a war veteran. That's a very important thing. So, and there's just don't bring it up, don't tell dad, don't because Archie, if you think I'm an angry person, Archie is at this level all the time, of course, but in a comical way. And so at a certain point it does come out. I don't remember the whole episode, but it does get the news is divulged, and Archie realizes and learns that this kid who's talking, politics, who's talking about liberal things and whatever, was not in America during the Vietnam War, should have served, but instead escaped to Canada, and has now been allowed back with full rights, with full amnesty. And you see, and it's a great performance by Carol O'Connor, this moment, and it's really the only time I remember in the series, when Archie's yelling and his anger and his constant sort of, hey, this and this and this and this, he goes to a level of real deep-seated rage that's scary and that you've never seen in this character who yells in every episode. He's angry at Mike about everything. He's angry about it. And yet it's always kind of funny. It's always, it's just Archie. This is Archie like reacting in a way to something that's just been burbling in him for years since Vietnam went pear-shaped. This idea of, believing in your country, believing in whatever.
It's like your dad with Bush, right? How he would get
worse. I mean, yeah.
Wow, that was bad, yeah.
Because for Archie served. Archie didn't want to go to war. I mean, the Nazis were bad, of course, but he didn't want to have his head next to him being blown off. He didn't want to, but he served. He did. His friends did. And here you've got these kids coming back, cowards, not serving their country, saying they're doing it for pacifistic reasons.
Liver. I wonder
Lily liver, yeah.
if livid comes from the liver.
Liver, like,
Yes.
well, they're saying not. They're saying,
Bile.
yeah.
Bile, when
Gray.
you see somebody's full of bile, they're angry, right?
Yes,
Like if I say
bilious.
bilious, that's liver. So, no, bile is gallbladder, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
oops.
I got
Oh, well.
it. And that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what does the liver make? Enzymes.
What enzymes does the liver make? ALP, ALT, AST, GGG.
Good God, they're like prefixes for courses.
Phosphatase,
Yeah,
all these things,
Yeah.
I can't say them.
but I don't know if liver from libidity, from that again, the pale thing, from the bruising. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know word wise.
You gotta get a book about like that.
But if you ever get to see that episode again, or that part of that scene where
Where
Archie
did he have it?
just, you can probably YouTube the scene. And it's just, the moment is absolutely like shocking in terms of that, they always say, don't give an actor, you don't throw out a play or throw out a movie. You give it 90%, 91%, so you always have a little extra when you need it. So this was an actor, Carol O'Connor, who pitched Archie at 80 to 90%, but when he had to go to 120, it was terrifying. And the writers kind of let him down a little bit because while he's in this mode,
Yeah.
they're still writing jokes in. And they don't
Oh, God.
work because he's so furious. He's so livid. It's like, you can't get a good war off that way. It's like, wait, what? It's like, it's just, but it's so when I think of Livid, that is the first.
It's all scripted.
Oh no, totally 100% scripted. But I don't think that the writers realized and the director realized that the performer would figure out a way to make this a moment that he isn't just Archie being mad. This is a man who wonders what the hell has happened to his country. This is a man who wonders,
So Willie Loman.
yeah, how do I accept this? How do I have someone who, when I did what I
So
did,
you still don't have an everything bagel.
I know, right?
You at the bagel store too. You launch into that.
It's not just as like, Wait, you're out of my favorite bagel? Like, how can you eat out of my favorite bagel? It's like, where's that come from?
Then they find one in the back that's been under the machine for a year.
Oh, thank you very much. Kind of lost it there for a minute. Yeah, I've had moments where I hit lividity, but it's very rare for me, where I've been so not just angry, but
Did you
lividly.
do the Limerick? I can't.
No. We got an unlivid limerick, and we still have our friends of the Daverhood to do.
Hold
So
on a second. That's 27,000 people. Oh, give me your
What?
Facebook. I want to see your,
Oh.
I want to see your Facebook.
oh, please, yeah, make sure that we're still going. You're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz. If you want to watch older episodes of the program, like what? What do you mean? So you can go to davesgoneby.com, which is my official website for the show. Dave, like me, with an S, davesgoneby.com. And you can listen to our first episode, our first 100 episodes, our first 300 episodes, our first 500 episodes. You can watch episodes 600 and something to 976, because those are videos. It's all there for free at davesgoneby.com. All you got to do is click. Yeah, and it's kind of nice because you can also skim through. They're not live. So if there's a segment you're bored by, you don't want to watch, you can just go zoop. Not that anything I do is ever boring, but yeah, it's there. Plus, you can also go to archive.org, archive.org. So this is a website not connected to me. It's just a not-for-profit site that collects art and literature and painting and poetry.
Like this, you should put your site.
Oh, I know this album. And a lot of mishmash from Mickey Katz, Joel Gray's father. But
Times was he,
Hmm?
didn't you have him on?
oh, no, I haven't had Joel Gray on, and Mickey Katz was
So
gone
they
before I
said you
started the
could
show.
Trim the bone of Amish.
So, archive.org, we have a channel there, and all our episodes are there as well as all our interviews. So, if for some reason my website is down, or you're having some issues, or you want to support archive.org with your eyes and you're downloading or streaming, just go to archive.org and look for Dave's Gone By there. We also have a YouTube channel, but YouTube sometimes gives me fits in terms of content and copyright. So that's not my first go-to. We're also on castbox.fm, but that is for audio only. So we put up our audio archives of the program, but you won't see the video, which doesn't matter for the first 650 shows. Those were radio shows.
Video.
But the later ones, hey, you know what? I'm going to hold my hand up in front of the thing. You can still hear me talking. You can still kind of picture me. And in my feed here from a place I subscribe to called Jew Belong, and Rabbi Sol does this too. You read from the Torah and gave a speech in front of your parents' friends when you were 13. You can do anything.
That's the Mr. Rogers
Yeah.
quote, right?
Now, technically, they should probably move that apostrophe over after the S because they mean both parents.
Maybe now they mean one.
Oh, maybe they do. Yeah, all right. Yeah, because
Nowadays, that's probably most separate.
mixed families, yeah. But anywho,
Oh, honey.
mhm. What is that? What is that? Oh, and I also subscribe very, very happily. Oh.
That's Swedish. Yes, it's Swedish. We're gonna.
But this is, I'm on a feed on Facebook, and you have to subscribe to this. Bag album covers. And most of them are, and they get kind of boring, but they're still wonderful, of these Christian family singing groups from the 1960s and 70s. And they're all in like teal gowns and ridiculous, like white-collared suits for the men. And it's just, Jesus came for me. And it's like, okay, fine. And they're wonderful. But the even better ones sometimes are these foreign albums from all over the world. Here's Ludovic. This is an actual album cover of Ludovic from whatever country he's from. Sude a im Einasjar. Do we really want to know?
No.
It's Ludovic and his Einasjar. Actually, can we?
It's word five attached to the word anus.
Yeah, I don't know what.
It says report photo, like,
Ludovic
that's the problem.
im Anus Yar. Who is Ludovic? This is real. You can find this on Discogs. But there's not much else about it. Let's see if he has his album listed here. Apparently it goes under funk. The genre,
That's funk?
funk/soul,
What does anus mean?
pop, folk, world and country style, disco, soul, ethno-pop, and of course Ottoman classic. So he's a Turk. What
What does it mean?
does anus mean in Turkish?
Number 5.
Well, it's got that curlicue under it.
Yeah.
So it might be Anush. Well, no, that's not really I don't know. It's not unless I can copy paste that way that he does the S on
I
there.
don't think you should, personally, I don't think you should touch it.
Let's see if we'll do it. Let's see if I can Google
What does
it.
it mean in Turkish? Look at that, yeah.
Let's see, hold on. No, I'm not finding. Sorry, I'm running into a blank on this one. But anyway, yes. So you want to do the album cover thing? That's really fun. But you also want to watch and listen to our archives at davesgoneby.com, archive.org, castbox.fm, our YouTube channel, Dave's Gone By. Lots of places to get really what is the same material you'll find at davesgoneby.com. Older episodes and interviews and sketches from this program. Anyway, I'm Dave Lefkowitz. That's my wonderful wife. You guys are your wonderful you here in the Daverhood Live on this February 15th, 2025. I hope you had a fine Valentine's Day, whether alone or with other people. We want to send a Valentine now to the people who have been on this program in months and years past. We call them friends of the Daverhood. They're the folks who graced us with their presences over the past 22 years. A lot of them are still with us and still very busy and active, and therefore we like to let you know what they're doing. They are friends of the neighborhood. I don't have the classical music to play, so I'm just going to roll them on. There you go. So our friends of the neighborhood for this Saturday include, actually, I got to start with a not a happy one. Got to express condolences to our musical friend Gary Lucas. Now, Gary is ubiquitous. He's always playing somewhere. He's a guitarist. He, of course, was in Captain Beefheart's Magic Band during the band's final few years, and a longtime friend and fan. He also worked with Jeff Buckley. Well, Gary Lucas lost his brother Stuart last week. Stuart, amazingly enough, had studied to be a rabbi, but he had mental and physical issues for years. Probably should have become a rabbi. But yeah, we wish our condolences to Gary Lucas over the passing of his brother. Congratulations, though, to Mark Stephen Poro.
I want to play the guitar.
The radio? Wait.
The guitar, the radio, yeah.
Yeah. Here, okay. So Mark Stephen Poro, he wrote a book about his mother and her, I think it was getting Alzheimer's and then ultimately passing. But it was his time with her when she was still compos mentis, and he wrote a book called A Cup of Tea on the Commode, and we had him on the show about 2 years ago. Well, the book won an independent press award, and if you are in Manhattan today, you can see Mark Stephen and the cover of his book on billboards in Times Square because he won that award. So congratulations to Mark Stephen Poro on that. Want to let you know that today and tomorrow are your last chance to catch the revival being done by City Center Encores off Broadway of Greg Cotis and Mark Holman's Broadway musical Urinetown. Greg was on our show a few years back, so congratulations to him, and seeing if Urinetown still holds up, and maybe considerations for a bigger revival of that. I want to let you know that Chaz Palminteri is doing his solo show, A Bronx Tale, at the Tarrytown Music Hall. Now, Chaz turned that into a Broadway musical. It wasn't quite a hit, but his solo show, A Bronx Tale, has just been done everywhere for years, and it's a really terrific show. So if you can catch it, he's at the Tarrytown Music Hall. That is on February 21st. Playing now through March 1st at the White Bear Theatre in Kennington in the UK. Our good friend playwright Jeffrey Sweet is directing his play The Value of Names with a pretty well-known English cast. So he's just having the time of his life. Darren Lee Cole is presenting Soho Playhouse's International Fringe Festival Encore Series at the Soho Playhouse on Van Dam Street in Manhattan. Darren Lee Cole kind of owns and operates the theater. And Dakin Matthews, the actor and playwright, he has adapted Shakespeare's Henry IV, and they're doing that adaptation at Theater for a New Audience over in Brooklyn at the Polanski Center. That is happening now through early March. Danny Burston, of course, is in Gypsy on Broadway at the Majestic Theater. Aladdin has music by Alan Menken, and that is at the New Amsterdam Theater on Broadway. Alan Menken's music is also heard in Little Shop of Horrors, being revived at the West Side Theater off Broadway over on West 43rd Street. K.T. Sullivan is at the Algonquin on Tuesday evenings, the Algonquin over on West 44th. Vince Giordano and the Nighthawks, they play Birdland every Monday night, 2 shows. And Michael Garin is at the Roxy Hotel in Tribeca playing piano Tuesdays through Saturday evenings. And remember, if you go to Michael Garin's Facebook page, Garin, Michael Garin, you can stream his cocktail piano music live from the Roxy
awesome.
Theater. Isn't that great?
It's really cool.
Great idea. Tuesdays, Seth Bisenhirsch does Seth's Talent Showcase at Don't Tell Mama. And I want to remind you that Evan Seplow edits StageBuddy.com. David Sheward writes for TheaterLife.com, CulturalDaily.com, and my own TotalTheater.com. Vicky Quaddy does shows out in Chicago, including Late Night Catechism. You can catch her at the Greenhouse Theater and other environs. Charlie Gross and Leslie Hoban Blake, they co-host Two on the Aisle. It's a theater review program, and you can watch full episodes as well as segments on YouTube.com. Who else? Remember that Tony Orlando has Saturday Nights with Tony Orlando. That's on WABC AM 770. And Carol Miller, speaking of radio personalities, you can listen to her on New York's Q104.3 FM weeknights from 7 to midnight. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Well, here on this Saturday, February 25th. So it's about 20 to noon on this snowy Saturday morning. It's not really sticking at this point. I think it's a little too warm for it to stick, but it's certainly snowing out here in Maryland, our 3rd storm of the year. Anywho, that's okay. I'm keeping warm with the.
On a Monday morning.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, or Tuesday morning, or Wednesday or Thursday morning. Yeah, but I'm keeping warm with the fires of hell that are coating me, that are licking my tuchus because, and if you've ever had your tuchus lick, you know how nice that is, because we're heading to the Colorado Limerick of the damned. The hellscape that is my poetry, ladies and gentlemen, when I make fun of and talk about a place in Colorado and make a naughty poem about it. So I've been doing this for all these different places in Colorado. I've been doing it for years. We have more than 300 of them, and we have a brand new one this week. We're going to Breen, Colorado. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Breen and also read you my limerick.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
Oh, I forgot also to save the Daverhood song. I've got to get a couple more. You know, what we close our show with. I forgot to bring that over from the other computer.
Take the radio. If you hit the bottom one, it repeats it.
Oh, really?
Let's see.
Yeah, I'll do that for the end of the show.
Yeah.
But our limerick today is for Breen, Colorado. I never
Need
heard
your
of it.
goggles?
Oh, no, not for Breen. Not for Breen, but thank you for that. I have my dreidel. Oh no. This just pulled off the thing. Great.
We can tape it.
I
That
know.
was 70 cents. I can tape it. No, it goes on the spring, honey, the spring.
Oh,
I could just stick it on Rabbi Sol's yarmulke. No, the other way, honey. Look how the other one's on, see?
oh.
Yeah, you gotta match them.
It's
We can
not gonna-
tape it. We can,
This is not gonna
we
work.
can tape it. Here, I'll get the tape.
Oh, see, it was glued. The glue came off.
Let me go, here, give it to
Oh.
me, I'll fix it, stab.
The glue came off.
Give it to me, give me
Livid.
the, where's the other one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
there's a person, 2 people walking, really, other dog. Oh, it's a cute dog.
Well, what kind of
Oh,
dog?
the dogs are wet. Dogs,
Ew.
Chihuahuas peeing by the, oh, it's sticking on people though. The woman has a hood, but she doesn't have it up. Can you reason me that?
Well, maybe she's not bothered by it. If it
No,
was
she,
really,
her eyes are like this, she's squinting,
yeah.
but she doesn't have her hood up.
Huh. Maybe she has her clitoral hood up.
It's fluffy, but it's snow.
So, oh, thank you. She is fixed. Thank you. It's perfect. It works. Look.
You gotta bend forward to see it though.
There you go. There you go.
The tape's stuck on me now.
Thank you. Anyway, Breen, Colorado, which is part of the Ute Indian Reservation in far southwest Colo. So it's kind of like, it's not even a city, the Indians run it. And in 2023, the Durango Herald wrote a story about plans to try and change the name of Breen, Colorado. I'm glad they didn't because it's really easy to rhyme. But Breen, not a great history. The town was named after Thomas Breen, who from 1894 to 1903 was the superintendent of the Fort Lewis Indian Boarding School, which already gives you some idea. Well, let me tell you, 122 years ago, in 1903, the Denver Post did an investigative article and found that Breen committed tons of sexual abuse and violence towards women, including, quote, very specific cases of impregnating students.
Oh, goodness.
No, he's going to need Tad Nelson as a lawyer. Let me tell you, it's this Breen guy. So it's interesting that they investigated him and they dealt with sexual abuse and doing stuff with minors and getting young girls pregnant in 1903, and yet the town has kept its name through 2025. I guess. I don't know. So the Southern Ute Tribal Council is still staying mum on the community's request to come up with a new name. You figure they jump on it. You figure they like, well, we have Indian name for tree, anyway, we'll call it that. But no, they've just been dragging their feet under the teepee, if you will. But since it's still called Breen, Colorado, I get to write a poem about it and share it with you here on Dave's Gone By, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. I know a young actress from Breen whose habits, let's try this again. Here we go. I know a young actress from Breen whose habits are vile and obscene. She meets with Tom Hanks, who gives her some spanks. Together, they fuck Martin Sheen. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any comments or complaints, please send them to davesgoneby@aol.com. davesgoneby@aol.com. I try and read every comment that comes in, everything that you send. I also try and read every comment you make on our Facebook page, or if you message me on Facebook. Love to see it. It's all about you guys. It's all about the interaction and hearing from you, and you're liking the show or making recommendations or saying, how can you say that about Martin Sheen? I've said worse things about Martin Sheen, but yes, that's what it's all
I
about.
saw a Law and Order, like a really naughty man. Like,
Oh, really?
he played a really bad character. It was funny because it's so, we don't think of it. We don't think of him in that way, but I think he did it,
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he's been acting for like 50, 60 years at this point. So he would, I remember him in, I think Badlands was his debut, the Terrence Malick film. So why he's doing these things to this actress from Breen, or he's getting pegged by her, I think is the point of this poem. That that she and Tom Hanks are getting on top of Martin Sheen and doing him in various ways. So, it's anything could happen. So write to me, davesgoneby@aol.com. And and also check our Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2. Radio Dave and the number 2 is where you can find our Twitter handle. Look for me also on Instagram. It's, I think, David Lefkowitz, or is the basic Twitter handle. I never quite remember that. Maybe I should write it down, but have I? No, but it's up there somewhere. Somewhere I'm on Instagram, just basically alerting people to what will be on the next program. And that's basically what you need to know about the show, as well as always checking our Facebook page that you're watching now, as well as davesgoneby.com for any info that you want on this program. So, it's about 11:45. We've done what we've needed to do. We've had Dave's Big Dictionary. We've had our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. We've done story time with Let's Count New York City. We had a wonderful chat with Tad Nelson with Rabbi Sol Solomon. Remember,
Very
tadlaw.com.
interesting discussion.
So what else is there to talk about? What I can tell you is that, even after all these years, Carvel is always great.
Oh, there's a picture here. Sorry,
We took a picture. That's right.
I
Yeah.
always take pictures of everything.
Carvel.
I take pictures of Greeks who are celebrating New Year's. You name it, I take a photo.
So for my birthday, which was already almost 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
You want to go through what pictures then?
Well, we can go through the pictures too.
Did you take it down?
I think you did it on my phone, maybe.
Oh, correct. I'm sorry. That scared me. I was like, yeah. I said, there's a unit. That's truck.
Oh, that's right. So for many, I mean, there's something special about Carvel. Especially if you're on the East Coast, a New Yorker, Dom Carvel with that voice. We make our ice cream with less air.
It's made a color pop. You can click the X if you don't.
Oh, I don't know why that's. We lost it.
It made the color pop. It took the
I don't
background
like that.
black and white. Just do an X. Do an X. On the top, there's an X. Get rid of that.
Okay.
Now you see the pictures?
Hold on. It's just
Here, let me help you.
unloading or loading something
Let me
as we
help you
speak.
here. No.
Right here.
You need help?
Yeah.
I've got you do.
So for years, the special thing for my birthday, not that we couldn't have Carvel other times, we had a Carvel in the neighborhood when I was growing up, but for birthday cake, Carvel cakes had everything, right? Carvel,
Crunchy,
it has chocolate ice cream.
vanilla ice cream. It's got some kind of icing.
Yeah, the
It's
icing's
got-
kind of gross, but yeah, and then you've got
It's got blue and red food dye, which we
Yeah.
enjoy.
yeah,
And it's got crunchies.
crunchy. So everything you could want at the same time, not just a vanilla cone,
Less air.
and less air in
Let
Carvel.
me see if I can.
Fudgy the
Let me
whale.
see if I can find Tom Carvel saying that.
Oh, please do. So, now that I'm
Video of Tom Carvel saying less air.
creeping towards my obsolescence and I'm 61 years old, when my birthday comes around, sometimes I want something different. I want a cool cake. I'm not a big cupcake guy, but cupcakes can be nice, but I want to try something else. And yet,
Not the Alsace, not French. We don't think of it. Just plain good old American dairy product. We're proud of it.
He was beautiful. He was just beautiful. So,
Got paid for that.
but we were in the supermarket like 3 weeks ago, and we see a Carvel cake, and my wife is like, David, it's her birthday, you gotta get a Carvel cake. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I want, go to a bakery thing, get something a little different, try it. But the cake was right there, and it's Carvel. And I didn't get to have it on my birthday because we were going through so much stuff in our lives and having to deal with a lot of things that my birthday went okay, but I didn't get to have my Carvel cake. It sat in the freezer for the past week and a half. And finally, last night we had a breather, and we're like, let's do Carvel. So we pulled the Carvel cake out of there. We take it out for about 20 minutes. So, because you got to thaw the thing. Because it has less air, it turns into a solid brick of cream. And you have to let it thaw and defrost before you eat it. But we took it out, started cutting it up, and I gotta say, it hits the spot. There's something about a Carvel cake that is festive and tasty. It's got the crunchy in it, so it's like the whole big thing, you get an Oreo shake, it's got Oreo crumble. Carvel was doing that 45 years ago, 50 years ago, and still doing it in their cakes today. So I've got to say that made yesterday rather special. In retrospect, the birthday, my 61st, rather special. So I didn't get to eat Carvel on my birthday, but 2.5 weeks later, it tasted even better. Just, less air. And I hope Carvel never goes away. I mean, Tom Carvel died many years ago, but I hope the franchises stay, and they still make their flying saucers.
Yes, and they use the same mold for every cake.
That's right.
They somehow take it and they're like, what could we possibly, let's make it a leprechaun, let's make it a flying saucer, let's make it a whale, let's make it I don't know.
Well, if we had a franchise here, I would ask for a cookie opus on St. Patrick's Day.
I'm sure we have it.
Remember Cookie Opus?
I'm sure it still exists. What is it called? Cookie Opus?
Well, Cookie Puss probably still.
Carvel cake ordering. I can order a line. Oh, Walmart has it. Custom cakes near me here. You can order and design your own Carvel cake.
Because of course, Fudgy the Whale.
Step one
Yeah.
is the shape, ice cream toppings. You can do an edible image.
And there was an outer space one. Remember there was one, something, the thing, yeah.
Let's see.
Is he there? My wife is scrolling through.
I gotta go to cakes. The cake, oh, look at this one.
What the hell is that?
For crunchies.
Yeah, and they started doing a Super Bowl cake in the shape of a football. I get that. Fudgy!
Yes.
Fudgy the Whale!
Let's see. Round cake. Oh, they do a butterfly cake.
Well, that's gotta be a different mold. They're changing up the molds.
They do a race car cake, baseball cake, basketball cake. They do the bunny cake.
Oh.
Bunny, they do another chocolate bunny.
The bunny is the same mold, by the way, as butterfly cake.
Christmas tree, yeah.
Christmas tree? How the hell do they do that?
There you go.
And there we go. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Don't click on the other cookies. I don't want that site tracking me, yeah. Is it called Cookie Opus or what's his name?
This is the St. Patrick's, because they used to do Cookie Puss,
Yes,
but for St. Patrick's Day, Cookie Opus.
yes.
Yeah.
To quote the guy from the Super Bowl, they're not like us. They're not. Oh, honey, yes, you're right. Look.
Oh, there's regular Cookie Puss, which would be great for Valentine's Day. This is the right kind of
I
thing.
mean, I don't think that gets anyone in the mood for romance. I don't know.
Oh, really? That nose doesn't remind you of something?
Remember the guy made you the rabbi when he thought you were a rabbi? He made it for you.
Yeah, our local guy
Off brand, he wasn't supposed to do it.
at our local Carvel when we were living on Long Island.
Crunchy Monster.
That's new. They never did Crunchy Monk. Let me show this. This is,
Some round cake, you call it a
it's
monster.
also borderline racist. This is,
No, it's all crunchies. Those are the
Yeah.
chocolate crunchies.
I know, but yeah, okay. That's new.
They're not like us, honey.
Yeah.
It's got a cute belly. They're just taking the round cake and doing, they have an Easter egg. I mean, that's.
Yeah, no, I mean,
The
now they're out of the
whale, yeah.
box.
Oh, Festival of Lights Hanukkah cake.
Really?
Yes.
Yay, Carvel.
It's the same round cake. They're like board meeting. we have a round mold. What the heck can we do with it?
Well, that's come on, every baker decorates a round cake in a different way, but that's normal. It was the idea that Carvel made all these characters.
Sheet cake, a
Yeah.
heart cake, and Fudgy the
There's
whale,
Fudgy, there's the football one, yeah.
nothing. But one of the
sloths
they
moved.
just have a lot of like, and remember remember
What?
the bear?
No!
He used to be called Huggy the Bear.
Yes!
Now he's called Hug Me. He used to call Huggy the Bear.
Huggy, I think it was Huggy, or are we confusing with
Maybe
Huggy, the Huggy Bear from Dukes of Hazzard or something, but
Yeah.
Hug Me the Bear. So that kind
I
of
think
different
it was
mold.
Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. So Carvel still,
Some old school and some new school, you know.
Yeah.
I know. I
the
like
Carvel New School of Social Cake Research. So,
They
yeah.
have really nice, good combinations. They're recycling all these oat.
Well, the old ones is what we really come for. No, what is this? What is this?
Ghost, do you remember them? I don't remember that one.
They had a ghost, but it wasn't this.
No.
This is new. They did have a ghost one.
Because it's got peanuts. People, I don't know.
Oh,
Is it?
yeah, that's right. That's gotta be crushed peanuts.
That's gotta be old school, because they wouldn't make that now, you know?
Well, if I had a peanut allergy, not be walking into an ice cream shop to begin with.
They have one for you, an Oreo cake. We've seen that.
Ah.
Peanut butter Oreo.
Yeah.
Oh God, that pumpkin cake is horrific. Honey, a Santa cake,
Oh, well, yeah.
school days. And they took Cookie.
Oh, there's the mold. That's
They
the.
took Cookie O'Pussy and the snowman.
Mm,
Trying.
they are. God bless their hearts.
I got tons. Look at this.
Yeah, she's just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and there's more different cakes.
Work is horrific. You the man cake. Okay, that's done.
I don't think Tom Carvel came up with a Yuda man cake. I would, yeah.
You're the man cake. The Scotty soft serve, that's like totally new too.
Ooh,
Let me see if I can do
biscotti sauce.
Carvel near me.
I'll bet there's one
a
in
Carvel ice cream shop in Baltimore.
regular Baltimore. That makes sense. Well, maybe it's near where you get your hair cut or something.
Yeah. But you can get Carvel at Walmart.
Well, yeah, you can get Carvel cake at
Anywhere.
Yeah, we see them in the supermarket. Wegmans has them. So, and Safeway has them and whatever. So, it's a treat. What can I tell you? It's a treat.
You're like my uncle. He used to love his birthday, and he always got a Carvel cake.
Yeah, and back when I was growing up, we would get a 6-pack of the flying saucers and keep those in the freezer.
Oh.
So you have, the flying saucers there, and yeah, they were great.
Teresa and I would have them, but I would get them from the bougie place and get like the health version of them, and we would sit and watch either. I liked the lawyer show, and she liked the one with the actress called America something, and we'd always
Ugly Betty.
Yeah, it alternate. I liked the law show. We'd switch it off to watch each of them.
Right.
We would buy those things, and it was good.
Oh, cool. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Anyway, speaking of good, we've had a good time here in the Daverhood doing the 977th episode of Dave's Gone By on this Saturday, February 15th.
Slots that are like in the power.
The slots are, that's right. One came all the way down.
You had one all the way up the top, it was
Yeah.
the top of the ceiling up there. Yeah, you did
They're
great.
moving. Well, we're moving too, because it is noon Eastern time in the Daverhood. Time to wrap up this program. So remember, you can write to me, davesgoneby@aol.com. You can check our archives at davesgoneby.com. And we thank one more time Tad Nelson for joining us in the Daverhood to talk about his legal career. We thank my wonderful, amazing, and lovely wife. I want to mention your name, and I can't do it.
Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. And
Valentine's cake.
Oh, you're welcome.
You are a sweet, sweet man, although the potatoes are mad at you from the cover of the card, they're very PO'd.
oh yeah, well,
They said words I didn't think they knew.
yeah, they
Said
know.
the naughty words.
Yeah. I got her a Valentine's Day card, and it had a bottle of ketchup on the back, but it had
Oh,
something.
no, it had something bad on the front.
Right,
They're very
yeah,
upset. They want to know what happened with that.
Yeah. We'll deal. But anywho, on this snowy Saturday morning, stay dry, stay well wherever you are. We expect to be back next Saturday, same time, 9 until noon or thereabouts, with the 978, toward the 7th, 978th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio, of the stream. Until then, have a great one. Happy post-Valentine's Day to all of you. Happy President's Day. Very few people are happy about the president, but
The holiday,
Yeah.
I think the banks, the post offices and whatnot are shut. But the weird part is we have school.
Yeah.
So everybody thinks we're off school. I'm like,
No,
no,
no.
like it's a very weird.
because what they do, they turned it into, I checked on this, because I was like, why the hell are we there?
Like an optional.
And they turned it into a floating holiday, so they get a day, they pieced it on to like our spring break.
I'd rather have spring break longer.
Well, right, yeah, so there it is. And that's how they managed it, or whatever or they made the semester one day shorter, so whatever they did, or maybe they did in the fall to do fall break, I don't know. It's the university's choice.
Can be floating, like your organs can move a little bit, but I don't understand how.
It just means you can either take the day or you give the day a different time of the year. You're allowed to use it.
To take that day, like if, let's say their kids are home from school, what do?
If your office is open, it's a work day. You got to take a vacation day.
Yeah.
Or if you own the office, you can choose to close or,
But that's
yeah.
Business.
So, I mean, they're not going to make Christmas a floating holiday. They're going to put, let's do like Crazy Eddie and make Christmas July 70.
Because the taxes are off, yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. So that's what it is.
Banks,
Post office,
federal.
everything's going to be open in terms of stores. Furniture places love the President's Day sale.
President's Day sales.
Yeah.
Let me ask
Ask your
what's the biggest thing
googly
to buy
oogly.
on President's Day? Is it furniture? Probably.
Well, you can buy a president,
No, I don't
but
think
they're
you
very
can.
expensive.
What's the best thing to buy on sale on President's Day? Take a guess, David.
Oh, furniture.
It says major discounts on furniture, mattresses, tech, and large household appliances.
All right, yeah.
Maybe like Sears, right?
Like a PC Richards,
Sears,
a kind of place like that.
It says do electronics go on sale? Best Buy, it's saying, has a great President's sale.
Ooh, all right. Because don't you remember growing up, they would have Washington and Lincoln
Yeah, I remember
and their
some
images, and
days,
people would be
yeah.
playing them on
They
TV.
do that, but then
Because that was back when Washington and Lincoln had birthdays.
company that had like Honest Abe Plumbing, and it was like Abe Lincoln with the wrench. I mean, that was like disturbing combo. I don't think that Abe Lincoln was a plumber.
No, if anything, he was more of a woodsman.
Yeah, but
That was Washington.
they're conflating like the metaphor or the analogy.
Well, honest Abe.
But like,
Yeah.
I not want someone from the
I'm not lying to you. There is shit clogged in your toilet.
era, was it 1800s, to come and do my plumbing. They didn't have plumbing then.
Indoor, no, that's true.
No, I mean, I don't
No.
want someone who didn't have their plumbing to come do my plumbing, right?
That's a good point.
But and seeing it with muscles disturbed me, but it was an interesting.
But it would be, but then again, you wouldn't know what to make of like Theodore Roosevelt plumbing.
But
What
honestly, I'll tell you, it's very memorable. So whoever did it, it's
William Henry Harrison plumbing. It's just
William Taft. Yeah.
Well, Taft probably had plumbing problems wherever he was going. He probably broke his share of toilet seats, as have I. But anywho, on that note, on that floaty note,
Okay, I'll play this one.
Yeah.
Okay, sing it.
Gone by there. I can't find a key. Gone by, there goes the Daverhood. There goes the Daverhood. Dave's gone by, and we'll see you, we hope, next Saturday morning. Bye-bye now.